Welcome back, everybody, to a big episode of Yeah No No Yeah. It is that time to where Liam and I catch up on all of the movies we've been watching, but it's not just that. I had the bright idea of making it one episode to where we catch up on all the movies we've been watching since the last one of those episodes and all of the music we've been listening to. So we talk about a whole lot of movies, a whole lot of albums. It was a lot of fun, but this is definitely a bigger episode. I wanted to see how it went, but it definitely took a lot out of us afterwards. But I hope that you guys enjoy listening. That's what matters. Be sure to check out the timestamps in the description if you want to jump to a certain point, avoid spoilers, all of that good stuff. Also check out the link tree to find our social medias, Instagrams, all of that, and interact with the poll if you're on Spotify. Also, don't forget that we do have a Patreon. We would greatly appreciate any support, big or small. It helps us make the podcast even better, and all of the money has been going to the new artwork for each episode. I hope that you guys enjoy that. Shout out to Manu Art for doing it for us. She's doing a great job. And speaking of Patreons, I want to shout out our 5 Patreons currently. We've got Kath.reviews on Instagram, moving___pictures on Instagram, Sarah's Popcorn Chat on Instagram, Ardor Film on Instagram, and Luna___Pearl on Instagram. So check out all of them. Thank you guys so much for the support. It helps us out tremendously. And we hope you guys enjoy the episode. With that being said, let's get into it. You got your beverage?
Oh yeah, I do have a
You
beverage.
do? Okay. Oh, it's a little... I have a big can.
God, I miss White Claw so much. They have it over here, but it's so expensive.
I'm surprised that you liked it.
It's great. But this is Kopparberg Hard Cider. It's like 7%, and it's like 1.8 standard drinks in one.
Gee.
Yeah.
Wow. In that little can.
In that little can.
Yeah, so we don't have many topics this time. That's one thing. That's the way it used to be too, right? We didn't really always have many topics.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, this episode is just going to be... We don't know how big this episode's going to be. It could be 10 hours. We don't know.
We're just going through all our movies and music watches and listens and all that shit in one episode.
2 birds with 1 stone. That was my idea. Catching up on both big things. We could even throw shows into it too. Why not?
Oh,
what
God,
shows you been watching? And what books you been reading? No, I'm just kidding.
How do we do this?
Well, we might as well just get right into it. Movies. We have it's crazy the amount of, like I was saying, I have almost the exact number of movies watched and albums listened to. I didn't even plan it. It's bizarre. But
I think for this one it's probably going to be a bit easier because we have roughly the same movies, but with albums you're going to have to do maybe 3 and then 1, 3, 1 or something like that.
I might have to, yeah, true, because... I mean, if I wasn't counting my re-listens, then yeah, it'd probably be 30 albums. I won't have a lot to say about some of them. Sometimes it's just, I don't know what to say. But
yeah, sometimes that's just the way it is. Alright, well, you might as well go first if you like.
Want me to start? Well, last movie I watched in the last episode we did this was In the Mood for Love. So, picking up right after that, I watched, you've seen some movies by this guy, at least one, but this movie called About Endlessness by Roy Anderson.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the way this guy makes movies. It's so weird and depressing, but just unique.
Yeah, I've really been wanting to continue watching his movies because I saw Songs from the Second Floor and I love that movie so much. But
and I haven't seen that one yet.
It's fantastic, and I want to continue because it's a trilogy of movies. That one is in a trilogy, but it's so fucking hard to find You the Living, the second one. I don't know where the fuck to find it. I've tried torrenting, streaming, rent, buy. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I was surprised I was able to find this one. Yeah, I want you to definitely watch A Pigeon Sat on a Tree Branch Reflecting on Existence or whatever.
You've seen that?
I have seen that.
That's the third in the trilogy. You can't do that.
But
You're breaking the law.
I didn't even know that it was a trilogy before watching.
I mean, it's
a
trilogy, like the Vengeance trilogy is a trilogy.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I was about to say, like based on its themes, I guess, but not like not only is each movie its own story, but each like scene in the movie is its own story. It's crazy. Just loosely connected scenes about humanity and just like people being miserable and just like life and little things about life, and it's just, I don't know, it's really cool. Like both the Pigeon movie and this movie about endlessness.
I just love calling it the Pigeon movie.
Well, it's easier than saying a pigeon sat in a tree branch reflecting on existence every time I want to talk about it. I know, but
it makes it sound like a DreamWorks animation or something. The Pigeon
movie.
I
want to make a kid sit through this movie and see how they come out.
I'm sure you do.
No. Those two movies are, like, they're almost identical in, like, the way that they're done. It's just, different things happen. So it's definitely his style, and I bet Songs from a Second Floor is like the same exact style. Yeah, overall, great movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's not as good as the Pigeon movie, but it's still like a great movie, and I can't wait to watch more of his stuff.
I left off last time on Cha Cha Real Smooth, so my next one was The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, hell yeah.
I really, really loved it. Like, obviously, I mean, everyone does, right?
Yeah, most people.
It sort of feels like it's getting like a little like lesser for me right now, just because it's just that it doesn't really stick with me like as an overall story that much as I wanted it to. But like while you're watching it, it's just like, this is fantastic. Like I love Colin Farrell in the movie. I think he's amazing. Obviously Brendan Gleeson. Everyone of the cast is just fantastic, and it has like a really great mix of just humor and like really sincere sad shit as well. It's a beautiful movie.
I've still only seen 2 of his movies, Martin McDonagh's movies, but it's my favorite for sure, and it was like, it made it into like my top 3 of last year, so great freaking movie. I gave it a 5. I don't know about you, if you're still thinking about it, but
I gotta catch up on a lot of ratings. Like I've got so many fucking movies to review, but it's like, but I don't know, it's probably around like a 9 for me right now. But I do really love a lot about it. I like In Bruges better though. I will say that.
And I'm sure I will too. That movie just looks like something I would give 5 stars and that I would love. I just know I will.
That movie is so weird that it can make you like extremely depressed one minute and then like laugh like a maniac the next. It's crazy.
Those are my favorite type of movies. So
then you'll love In Bruges.
Then I'll love it. Oh man, I can't wait. Just a great movie overall. Great movie. The next movie I watched, which we already talked about this, so we don't have to go into it, but Decision to Leave. The one after Decision to Leave we also talked about, so that's why I wasn't as thrilled looking at that one after this. But no, Decision to Leave. Yeah, great freaking movie. Again, I mean, look at our Park Chan-wook episode if you want our full thoughts.
Well, my next one was a rewatch of Knives Out, because I showed it to my older cousin because he hadn't seen it. Yeah, just still great. I still don't think it's like a perfect movie or anything. Like, I've seen it, this is my 3rd time watching it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I still really, really love it, but it's not like totally perfect, I don't think. But it's such a fun murder mystery. Like, I don't know. I love Daniel Craig in the role. He's just so fun. And Ana de Armas is like,
the movie.
Ana de Armas is like really weirdly like fantastic in this movie. Like she just has these moments where you're like, oh my god, I really feel for this character. But I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah, me too. I only saw it the one time in theaters when it was released, and it was good. It was very good. I haven't rewatched it since though, and Daniel Craig kind of made the movie, and that was like the first thing I saw Ana de Armas in too.
What about 2049?
No, even 2049 I think I watched after Knives Out.
What?
I didn't watch that right when it came out, so. But no, the one after this, we talked about Avatar: The Way of Water. I don't really want to talk about that again. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Watch our episode with Tony.
Well, my next one was a rewatch of Superbad.
Ooh,
it's still a fucking masterpiece. Like, oh my god, I love Superbad so much. It's just amazing. I showed it to my younger cousin because he hadn't seen it yet, and I thought, you're at this age now, you can watch Superbad now if you want. So I showed it to him, and it was like a rewatch for my other cousin as well. But it was just so fucking good. I don't know how they do it, but it just like captures that whole like vibe of high school back in that day like so well, and it
really does.
Oh my god, it's just so fucking funny.
I need to rewatch that. It's been so long, but yeah, every time I watch it, it gets better and better, and it is a relatable movie for that type of high school party atmosphere, I guess. It was definitely, I mean, it wasn't, my high school wasn't as crazy as that. I didn't go through the shit they went through, but still, it was...
No, it's just like, it really gets that vibe of just, you know, being in high school in that time and having like a load of crushes and, you know, drinking when you're not supposed to and all that shit. It's fun.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this next movie it was a heavy fucking movie. It was... I watched Gaspar Noé's latest movie, Vortex.
Still gonna watch that. Fuck.
Oh, man. Yeah, set aside, like, how long is this movie? 2.5, 2:45. I don't know how long. It's a long movie, and it is a slow movie. It's a very challenging movie because, like, the entire movie is split down the screen. And if you've watched Lux Eterna, he does the same thing to where it's like split screen and you're watching different things at once. And so people are going to love it or hate it, but like...
That sounds weird.
It's just it is really weird, but like it was kind of interesting the way he did it because like one side of the screen is following, you know, it's about an elderly couple.
Yeah.
Which the wife is, you know, starts getting like dementia and just forgetting things. And one camera is following her, the other camera is following the guy. And you're just watching them kind of go about all of this. And...
I'm certain people have made comparisons to Amour because, like, that's pretty much the plot of Amour. Like, the wife starts getting dementia and then the husband has to watch her go through it.
Yeah, then they probably will then. I haven't seen Amour, but this just had really unique execution, and anybody who's a Gaspar Noé fan is probably going to like it. And be in the mood for a long, slow burn, though. Oh my god, by the end of it, I'm not going to spoil anything, but holy shit. It's just, it's a heavy movie. So yeah, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, so pretty high.
Isn't the husband, isn't he played by the guy who directed Suspiria, like the original?
Yeah, that's true. That was another weird thing about the movie. Dario Argento was he's the main guy. So that was kind of strange, but it was cool. He was a good actor.
My next one was a rewatch of The Road to El Dorado. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it's still very, very fun. It's a fun movie. I think like the songs can be a bit like cringy or like they come at just random times and you're just like, oh, what the fuck why is Elton John here, basically? But I mean, it's fun and you have a good time, and like I really like the design of the entire like place that they go to. It's really cool.
You just randomly decided it felt like watching it?
I was high, okay, I'll admit it.
I mean, I was just wondering the circumstances.
On rewatch, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
The next one I watched, because this was before I had watched The Whale, so I wanted to make sure that The Whale was the last movie I had to complete Aronofsky's filmography. So in order to do that, I had to watch this one, because I hadn't seen it yet, and it's Noah.
Oh, God.
yeah, I know. I saved it for... I just... never felt like watching it. I probably never would have watched it if it wasn't directed by Darren Aronofsky. And yeah, it's his worst movie. And I don't even think it's a bad movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I just think it's his worst. Like, I wasn't interested in what was going on. The CGI and like the story is just I grew up with the story of Noah's Ark and like having to learn all this stuff, but this is just crazy. Like, rock people, big rock fucking what?
It's weird. I saw it in theaters when it came out. It was just like the weirdest movie ever. Like it's a total blur to me at this point, but like I remember not liking it.
Well, this was back in January. I watched it and I still don't remember much about it. Like it just came and went. I just wanted to complete his films. So
the next one I watched was Duel, Dual. It's the 2022 the 2022 movie from the guy who directed The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was the same guy.
Yeah, it's that guy. And it's got Karen Gillan and Aaron Paul. And
I knew Aaron Paul was in it. I wanted to watch it because of him. But...
yeah, he's not in it much, I'll say that.
Damn it.
And it's not a good movie.
Yeah, I was hearing that from
It's such a shame
people.
though, because like I fucking love The Art of Self-Defense. I've seen it like twice now and it's awesome. I think it's just like trying way too hard. It's got all these wacky ideas there and it's just executing them so poorly. It's a really lazy movie. Like it does not write the characters well at all. It wants you to like care about this main character, but she talks in such a fucking robotic way. I could not latch onto any of it. I think it's like that on purpose, like for the sake of some sort of deadpan humor, you know? I don't know.
Yeah,
she
just
wants to
kind of like Art of Self-Defense is deadpan.
Yeah.
Very deadpan.
But like that worked because like you actually gave a shit about the main character and like the characters
True.
around were actually fascinating. It's just with Duel, like, I don't know, do you want to know like the plot, like the basic plot?
Sure, yeah, you can tell me whatever, yeah.
It's basically about this woman who like finds out that she's dying, or she has like a terminal illness. Basically, there's like this futuristic like program thing where you can clone yourself. Your clone can live on and like bring comfort to your like loved ones and stuff.
Oh,
like after you die.
Oh my god, this is the same, not to interrupt, but this is the same plot of like an episode in season 2 of Black Mirror. I think it was season 2 of Black Mirror. This is like the same
yeah, Be Right
plot.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Donald
Gleason. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that episode fucked me up.
Oh
my
yeah,
gosh.
that was
I
fucking
like,
amazing.
crying.
I didn't even
was
make
wanting
that
to cry.
connection.
Yeah, I mean, I just remembered that. Like, that was the
God,
same,
that
basically
episode's
the same
good.
plot. It is.
It's
Black
so
Mirror is
good.
just so good. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
anyway.
but this was basically that, and it was not done well at all. Given the fact that she's cloning herself, but like she sounds more robotic than the actual clone. It's just
really?
so weird. Like I don't know what to make of any of it. I didn't give a shit about the character at all, and the way that the plot like evolves after that, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's just trying way too
that's
hard,
a
and it's got too many ideas floating around, and it just didn't work. I don't think. I can't even say like the acting is that great even. Like I didn't like Karen Gillan in it that much. Aaron Paul was barely in it.
Damn. It sounds like it had a lot of potential to be a great movie, but
I would say just watch Be Right Back. Just watch that.
yeah, just watch Black Mirror. The next one I watched, I showed for the Chandra the house that Jack built because she's never watched it. Yeah, so I'm always wanting to show people that movie.
I don't think I saw what she thought about it or anything, so...
She only gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. I knew she wouldn't love it as much as we did, but I'm just glad she at least liked it, because how can you not? Like, I knew that she would find some of the Matt Dillon stuff hilarious. Like, the scene, the same scene that you guys were laughing about, you and Julia, he had the OCD breakdown, he kept going into the house. Like, every time, we were just laughing.
It's like,
never gets old.
It gets like actual full laughs out of me now. Like, it's just so fucking funny.
It's getting to the point where like almost every scene is something funny about it to me. I don't know why, but like, yeah, it's just, I never get tired of it.
It's so weird as well. Like, any time that anyone brings up that movie or we talk about it, I want to rewatch it, like, immediately.
I know.
You don't even have to say anything. You just have to say the title, and I'm like, fuck, I want to rewatch that now. Damn it.
Well, it's the perfect balance of like, it's entertaining and funny to where you want to rewatch it, but there's also so much like depth to it that you get more out of it each time. So it's like the perfect recipe for a rewatchable movie.
And the weird thing as well is that it's like super long, but I still want to rewatch it. Like I'm not usually into rewatching movies that are that long, but damn.
Same, but like there's no, for me it's gotten to the point where there's no boring moments. Like I'm never bored. I'm always like wanting to know what's happening, you know. So
exactly.
like I don't even I never feel the runtime. I never feel it.
Well, my next one was a rewatch of Banshees of Inisherin, because I went back a second time in theaters to see it. I took my grandma. She loved it. I just thought it was a movie that she would enjoy. It sort of solidified. I think that's what solidified it as like not being completely perfect to me right now. It's just because I rewatched it and I was like, it's good and I'm enjoying it. But afterwards I was just like, yeah, that was I don't feel much from that. It's just like really good.
I guess I would have to see how I feel on a rewatch if I would even get much more out of it, you know. But the next movie I watched, this was when I was kind of on my Wong Kar-wai kick, because I was like trying to watch through his movies. I watched Chungking Express.
Ooh.
And it blew me away. This movie is incredible. Like, where do I even start? Like,
I really want to watch Wong Kar-wai movies. I haven't seen any.
This would be a good one to start with, Chungking Express, or actually, you know what? You should start with Fallen Angels.
Yeah,
that one
I think I might. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is a great gateway one, and I think it'd probably be both of our favorites. Chungking Express is good. It's like divided into like two different stories, and they're both kind of like love stories. But the soundtrack is great. The editing, it feels like a Martin Scorsese movie. Like, it's just kind of like crazy but like subtle at the same time, and yeah, it's just very quotable too, like some great quotes in there. So like, I don't know, I'm being generous with a lot of these movies, but I gave it another 5 out of 5 because I just couldn't think of anything wrong with it. It was just amazing.
My next one was a rewatch of It Follows. Once again, I did watch that while I was inebriated, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted something that would, I don't know, make me feel kind of freaked out while I was like on a high, and I was like, okay, I need to.
That seems like a terrible idea.
It wasn't. It was like, I mean, I liked it. It was like
freak me the hell out.
Yeah, but it was like freaky in that kind of way where like
in a good way.
I was like engaged as hell. Like I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I was just like, I have to see what's going on, what's happening next. Like even though I knew it, like in the back of my mind, it was just like you know, dumb high brain makes you think. It's like.
Yeah, that's true.
You're seeing it for the first time. It's still so good.
It is a great movie. I only saw it the one time, like, last Halloween. I don't remember when it was. 2 Halloweens ago or something. But, yeah, it's a great horror movie. But I could never imagine watching, like, Hereditary under that same mindset. I'd just be in hell. Like, that'd be terrible.
That's a bit different, though, because, like, It Follows has a lot of really beautiful elements to it. Like, the soundtrack and, like, the cinematography.
Yeah.
Like... You know, you watch it in that kind of way, and it's like, oh, you know, I'm being stimulated by all of that, but I'm also, like, freaked out at the same time. It's really good.
That's true. The style is cool enough to where that'd be why you want to do it. Yeah, you would never do Hereditary. Like, I don't want to hear, you know, Hail Pavement at the end of the movie and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, on rewatch I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I don't think I ever thought it was like a perfect movie or anything. I think like the end is a little bit off and on for me sometimes. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain why, but I mean, yeah, it's still like really, really good. I definitely prefer Under the Silver Lake, obviously, but...
I think I do too, honestly. Just a little bit more.
I fucking adore that movie.
Well, this next movie I watched in theaters, it was my first 2023 release movie. And that was Megan.
Oh, Jesus.
Megan. Dude, when I saw the trailer for this movie, at first I thought this looks so dumb, I'm gonna hate it. And then I saw the trailer again and saw her dancing. And I'm like, this looks so bad that it's good. I'm gonna enjoy it. Then I watched the movie. It's not even so bad it's good. It's actually good. I'm not even kidding. Like
maybe I'll watch it at some point, but it's not a priority or anything.
No, I get that, but like it was just a really fun, dumb fun horror movie. Aspects of it weren't even bad. Like none of the performances were bad. The story wasn't bad. The effects weren't bad. It's kind of cheesy having like a little robot doll girl just like going around talking and dancing and shit, but you know, it was just done really well. It's like I think it's like people have been saying it's like Orphan meets Chucky, those two movies.
That seems like the vibe I was getting from it. Yeah. I haven't seen Chucky, but I've seen Orphan.
And like, you know, everybody of course after this was bringing out the whole like girl boss slay and stuff like that. But no,
is Megan a she's literally me character?
She could fall into that maybe.
She's a robot.
Or at least, I know that's true, but no, if you watch the movie, you would see how, like, technically she's not in the wrong for a lot of the stuff she's doing. Like, she's not, like, evil by heart, you know? She's just, you'd have to watch the movie. It was a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's a fun horror movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is probably pretty high for that. But I had a lot of fun in the theater, and that's what mattered to me, I guess.
Well, I hope I enjoy it when I eventually do watch it.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is great. Like, there's a Charlotte Gainsbourg song in there that has a remix to it, and it's great. I don't know, you just have, if you listen to the soundtrack, it is actually a good soundtrack.
I look forward to it, sort of. Well, my next one was Triangle of Sadness. I don't know, that one's sort of like thrown a spanner in the works for me. So I don't know what to even think about it right now. I don't know, it's sort of just this, like, I guess hence the name, Triangle of Sadness. It's like sort of in 3 different parts, like a triangle. The last part of it I didn't find like super interesting. It just sort of felt like it went on for a long time, but like up until that point I was like really enjoying it. It's just it's an odd movie, and it like has a lot of metaphorical type of storytelling. It's sort of just this whole thing about like, you know, fuck the rich basically. I don't know, it's got a lot of like more deeper meaning than that. I don't know, that's sort of the gist of it, I guess. It's about like a bunch of people like going on a cruise, and they're all like rich as fuck, and the boat like sinks and they don't know what the hell to do, and it's like, yeah,
that's kind of funny. Yeah, I really wanted to watch that because a lot of people, there was a lot of buzz around it, you know, and
it's interesting.
People loved it or hated it, but
It is really interesting. I'm not like someone who loves or hates it. I'm sort of just in the middle right now. I could see myself liking it more in the future, maybe, if I watched it again. All I know is that it had the guy from Pusha 3 in it, and that was enough for me. Because like, I've wanted to see that guy in more since Pusha 3. And Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson was a lot of fun.
Oh, he's in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard about this movie. Isn't it like, does the camera do some weird shit to where like you're on a ship and like, somebody was telling me that. Like to the where it makes you kind of like queasy because like the ship is.
Yeah, it definitely does in the midsection. Yeah, but like the ship part is like the second part, so it's only like 1/3 of the movie. It was an interesting movie overall. Like I don't know what to think about it right now, but I'll just need to let it sit in my brain for a while.
Because I think it's up for Best Picture, like, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like really weird.
I know, that doesn't seem like one that would be up for Best Picture, but the next one I watched was, I think this was the last Wong Kar-wai movie I watched recently, and that was Fallen Angels, which, my favorite of the bunch so far. My favorite. I think I've seen like 4 of his movies now, and this is my favorite so far. Kind of like how Chungking Express reminded me of like a Scorsese movie. This like fully embodies like the just kind of like crazy and chaotic but like stylistic, stuff he's got going on. The soundtrack is awesome yet again, and like the way it's shot is just so cool. It's like kind of like just up close and like, but just looks really cool. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking like, I love this guy's movies where I gave it another 5 out of 5 because I could see myself coming back to this, and like it's just so good. I don't know. You gotta check this one out. Yeah, for sure. At least this one for sure.
My next was a rewatch of The Grand Budapest Hotel. So I showed it to my older cousin because he's the one who showed me like Fantastic Mr. Fox, and he really likes Wes Anderson, but he hadn't seen this. Yeah, it's still a 5 out of 5 for me. I fucking love it. I think it's amazing. It's just so well put together. I know that you're not a huge fan of Wes Anderson. That's totally fine.
Wait till we do a Wes Anderson director episode down the
road. You're gonna love that.
Because I've seen most of his movies at this point. I only have Life Aquatic left to watch, and that's it.
Yeah, I've seen more
all
than me.
His other stuff. Yeah, which is weird because I force myself through them, knowing I'm not gonna like them that much.
I mean, hey, if you want to, then we can, but...
With any director that I've completed their filmographies, eventually I'm probably going to want to, just because I can fully talk about all their stuff. But, I mean, that's way down the road, I don't know.
I think some of, like, the love for this movie comes from, like, it being my first Wes Anderson movie that I saw, because I remember I just randomly saw it in theaters when it came out. I didn't know a single thing about it. It's just nothing else was on, and I was like, okay, let's go watch this. I did, and I fucking loved it. I love Ralph Fiennes in this role so much. It's so well shot. The whole cast is just so much fun. I love it.
Next movie I watched was Petite Maman by Celine Sciamma. Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. I like Portrait better. Those are the only 2 movies I've seen from her. This is only like an hour and like 12 minutes. It kind of was dragging for me, and I was like, this is a short movie. Yeah, it is interesting. The story and the way this was done, it would have been a great short film, like maybe 30 minutes. Tighten it up, and then it would have been something good. But like, I don't know, the story didn't hit me in the ways that it did everyone else. I thought technically the movie was good, like the way it was shot and just the acting and all of that, of course. I just wasn't invested in the story or characters, and some scenes were just kind of pointless to be in there, even at such a short length. It just didn't feel strong enough to be a full film. Yeah. But I still gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because like it is a good movie. I just didn't love it, I guess.
I don't like Portrait very much at all, honestly. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Portrait, to me, I didn't love the story of Portrait either, but I loved it so much just because the way it was put together. It's like every shot is like a fucking painting,
It's very good looking, yeah.
And technically, I think Portrait is like an amazing movie.
Well, my next one was on the same night that I rewatched Grand Budapest Hotel with my cousin. I also showed them The Hateful Eight. Oh my god, it's so good. It's a
great movie, isn't it?
Fuck. It's still it's still my favorite Tarantino. I know that's a hot take, but It is.
It is a hot take, but at the same time, like, it's one of my least favorite Tarantinos, and it's still a 5 out of 5. Like, it's so good. So,
It is so fucking good. I don't want to get into spoilers or anything. Well, I guess I have to now.
You could if you want.
Spoilers for the Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I just love that fucking moment at the end, like where like pretty much everyone's just dead and the last two are like dying on the bed, basically just bleeding out.
Oh my god, the ending is so good.
And then like the guitar comes in with the song "There Won't Be Many Coming Home" by Roy Orbison. Like it's just so perfect. It's so weirdly emotional. The lyrics are like perfect for the actual circumstances of the movie. It's like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I just love how these two characters like hated each other, you know, and then by the end of the movie they're just like, you know, they gotta stick together. They have to.
And I love the whole thing about the Lincoln letter.
Yeah.
How he like did that whole like lie and everything, and then like they decide to like close the movie by just reading that again. Oh, Mary Todd. That's a nice touch.
Oh.
Thanks. It's so good.
Oh my god, it is so good. I need to rewatch that. It's been a while since I've watched a Tarantino movie. I don't know what the last one I rewatched was.
I mean, before this was my like first watch of Death Proof, probably. I think that was it.
We obviously have to do a Tarantino episode down the road to really go into all these. Like, I mean, that's a must do. So yeah. All right, this next movie, man, we definitely disagree on this.
Oh boy.
And I was surprised that I liked it, but I ended up watching The Sadness. The Sadness.
Yeah, what the fuck, Quinn?
What do you mean, what the fuck? I was watching it and I'm like, I'm surprised you hated it that much. I mean,
it's so edgy.
It is edgy.
It's like it's written by a 15-year-old.
It is edgy, but I mean, like, well, this was after I watched a Serbian film, so like I said, I'm a completely different person after that. Because after I watched a Serbian film, I was like, yeah, this is edgy, but I've still seen worse. So, but maybe that definitely had a part to play. And,
you have to see a Serbian film to appreciate the sadness.
To appreciate any edgy movie, I guess.
I don't know, it just bothered me a lot.
Well, that's totally fair. I mean, it's a really messed up movie in a lot of scenes, but I just liked it because, I mean, I like a good infection virus zombie movie, and like...
Me too.
Yeah, and to me it felt like 28 Days Later. My review was literally 28 Days Later on steroids, because that's what it felt like. I'm like, this is 28 Days Later, but just not more realistic, but just like more, people would do this. Like, they would really, if this was the virus they had, like, I don't know. It was just
the virus is just like... Isn't it just like, you know, people act on their like worst urges, basically, right? Like, just
basically, yeah.
But I think that the way it's written, like, it doesn't have enough like faith in humanity. I don't think.
I think its point is to say that deep down everyone has some, like, everyone's got some darkness in them.
Well, yes, but like all of these people are just like raping and killing, and that's it. It's like, I mean, is everyone gonna be like that when they got this virus?
I don't think, maybe not quite everybody, but I guess a lot of people.
Well, that's what it felt like.
I don't know. It is, it is, yeah, you're right. I can't explain why I guess I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, which is maybe high.
I mean, you can like it, go ahead, but I just, I cannot get behind it.
Yeah, some scenes made me uncomfortable, but like I said, I'm glad if a movie can make me do that. But then again, it was, you know, it's not hard to be this edgy, you know, just make them do messed up shit, I guess. But I don't know. I'm never going to go back and watch it. It's one that I would watch and I'm done forever. Like, I never want to watch it again. I was entertained, I guess.
Well, that's all that matters.
And plus, I found the look of the people really creepy, like just those black eyes.
I did like that.
Eyes go completely black, and I'm like, this is disturbing.
Yeah,
like,
some of the looks are like cool. Like, I like some of the ways that it looks and all that shit. And some shots are actually like really nice. It's shot very well at times. I kind of really enjoyed the train scene because it was just like all out blood and gore and shit. Like, going wild.
The subway train.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, that was fun, but like everything else after that, I was just like, man, this is dragging, and it's like so badly put together. I was like,
some parts did drag.
I felt like if it was an English language film, people probably would have like liked it less, honestly, because a lot of like the dialogue and stuff like probably would have like come through in a way different way. There's ways that people say shit, or like the things that they say where they're like really over the top and disgusting, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
But like, you know, because of watching it with subtitles or whatever, you're able to just not find it as icky as usual if you don't understand that.
It's actually true. Yeah. Yeah. Hearing them say these things, would be much weirder, but reading it is not quite as bad, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely not for everybody. I would not show this movie to anybody. Sure.
No, nor would I.
But yeah, it was something.
My next one was a rewatch of The Force Awakens.
Ooh.
It was when I was extremely high.
Damn.
But it made it so good. I was in love with this movie while I was watching it. I don't know why, but I was just like, everything is perfect. This is such a good movie. Oh my god. I
love it too. Like I give new Star Wars some shit sometimes. Like I don't love The Last Jedi. I don't love Rise of Skywalker. I don't even love Rogue One that much. But like Force Awakens, the perfect revitalization, like at first, of Star Wars. Like it just nailed almost everything right for me.
It was so good. I just love Adam Driver in it as well. He's so good.
That's so crazy to think. I remember watching it, you know, in 2015 in theaters, and that was my first time ever seeing Adam Driver in a movie. When he took off the helmet, and I'm like, who is this guy? This guy looks weird. And then I fucking end up loving him years and years later from all these other movies.
This was the start of the Adam Driver takeover.
I have to give it to him though, because like a lot of times anybody that shows up in Star Wars, they're going to be trapped in that role forever. Like people are only going to ever view him as like, oh yeah, that's Luke, that's Obi-Wan. But Adam Driver is like broken out of that. He can do like anything, and you know, people aren't always like, that's Kylo Ren.
He's really not tied to that.
No. So that just shows how good he is, I guess.
I said while like reviewing this on a rewatch as well, like Finn and Rey just should have been together. I don't know why they weren't.
Yeah, they should have been. There's a lot of shit they should have done, but not in this movie. Mainly in The Last Jedi, they should have fleshed more of that out.
I was saying also that like, you know, I really wish that I was a Star Wars fan when this came out, because like I would have loved to see it in theaters and just see the reaction everyone was having.
Oh. It was magical, I'll tell you, because like, yeah, the last movie we got was in 2005, like with Revenge of the Sith, and so that was actually, I think Force Awakens was my first live action Star Wars movie I've seen in a theater. Like I never even saw any of the old ones, because I always grew up with all the old ones, but this was like the first time I had the chance to see it in a theater, so it was pretty crazy seeing like the Star Wars logo and all that, and it is a fantastic movie. Speaking of fantastic movies, I watched... I don't really know what made me want to watch it, but, you know, in the horror community, this is a pretty big movie. It's called Pulse. It's by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. He directed Pulse and Cure. You know, he's a Japanese filmmaker, but he's known for, like, those two movies in particular. It's known because I've seen it on, like, lists of, like, the scariest movies, and, like, these scenes are so iconic in horror and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had no hesitation to give this a 5 out of 5, mainly because it's been so long since a horror movie creeped me out like this. Like, it just, scenes and shots were so creepy, and like it was so well done. This came out in 2001, so it was like the perfect time for like sort of a concept or like story like this, to where like connecting ghosts and horror to like technology, you know, and like computers, when it was like, you know, really kind of becoming a bigger thing. Yeah, it was just done super well. Like, there's scenes that will stick with me, and it's just done really freaking well. So I can't wait to watch this next movie, Cure. I really want to watch that.
Sounds like a banger. I'll have to watch it. Yeah, my next one was watching Thirst.
Ooh.
And we talked about that quite a bit on the episode with Park Chan-wook. Check out Chan-wook Chads if you'd like. 4 out of 10. I didn't like it very much. It's not the greatest in Park Chan-wook's movies.
Next one I watched, I showed Micah and Chandra Spider-Man 3.
Ooh!
Which Micah had already seen it, but he didn't, I don't think, remembered much.
Some absolute Kino.
It is absolute fucking Kino, man. It is, I mean, obviously 5 out of 5. I don't even have to say it. And yeah, nostalgia plays a huge factor, but at the end of the day, this is still, to me, the most rewatchable Spider-Man out of that trilogy. Like, isn't it your favorite out of the trilogy too?
It really fluctuates between 2 and 3, but yeah. I don't know. Like, 3 I've seen the most.
Then again, that's such a good trilogy that you could say, like, any of the 3 is your favorite, and I'd be like, yeah, I get it, you know? I never get tired of it. I mean, Bully Maguire. Give me all the Bully Maguire memes and fucking dancing and all that. That was so much. It's just a fun movie to watch with people, too.
My next one was Decision to Leave. We talked about that again. There's going to be a lot of Park Chan-wook coming up.
Yeah, there's going to be probably a lot.
All I said when I first reaction reviewed it was just, well, holy fucking shit. Because, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I really want to watch it again. And like I said on that episode, learn more about it. Great movie.
Oh, the next one I had, it was a rewatch of Megan in the theaters. I had to see it again.
Was it just as good?
It was just as good, if not better. I bumped it back down, but after I rewatched it, I was like, this is a 4.5. And then a day later, I'm like, no, it's still a 4. I'm not going to give Megan a 4.5 out of 5. It's still a 4. I didn't gain anything new from my rewatch. I was like, yeah, this is still just fun.
Well, my next one was, it's kind of a big one for me because it felt like it opened my third eye.
Oh shit.
Yes, I was high. Okay. Yes. But at this point, like, it was hitting in like a really, really good way. And I could not have made a better decision in my life than rewatching Mandy.
Oh boy.
Holy shit, that movie benefits so much from like being in that state of mind.
He totally like made that movie with that in mind. Like this would be, because I never noticed it when I first watched it too, like how well that would work in that way. But after rewatching it, then just like the colors and the way that things shift and morph into each other and shit, and like it's made for that.
Some of it is just like, I don't know, this big beautiful blur to me as well. Like I was following the story and everything, but there's like these moments in between story parts where it's just like, what am I watching right now? Oh my god, this is beautiful. And the soundtrack, oh my god. I don't know, I couldn't have made a better decision in my life. It's just so perfect. 5 stars all day. I love it.
The next one that I watched, this was, I didn't choose this movie. It was for me, Chandra, Micah's movie night. It was Micah's turn to pick the movie, and he picked The Wild Bunch, which is a 1969 Western movie.
What?
And it was good.
I don't know why, but that feels like such a Micah thing to do. It's just so random.
It is, and it's apparently like his favorite movie of all time. It was a good Western. It was good. As far as old Westerns go, it's not like, definitely not my favorite, not anywhere near the top. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 because it did drag a bit. The characters are what carry it. Like some of the characters are cool, but it just kind of dragged and it wasn't super memorable for me. Granted, I was kind of getting tired watching it too, but either way, it was a pretty good movie. Pretty good.
My next was a rewatch of The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. I think I have a lot of bias with this, honestly. You know, just because, like I've said before on the podcast, I started off with The Hobbit, you know, before Lord of the Rings. Like, it was just the movies that I, like, not grew up with, but I just saw as they were coming out, and I liked them a lot more because I got forced into watching Lord of the Rings in a bad way. But now I love Lord of the Rings, and now I do acknowledge, like, Lord of the Rings is better than The Hobbit, but, like, An Unexpected Journey is still a 5-star for me. I just think it's so good, and I actually love that Peter Jackson, like, it actually felt like he really did try with this movie, and, like, did give it his all. It's just, there is more CGI, obviously. It utilizes a lot more, like, modern filmmaking and all that shit, but it's still just so well put together and well told, and I love the characters. I love the whole world so much. It was just so much fun. I love it. And for a very long movie as well. Like, it's just great.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, I it's my favorite of the Hobbit trilogy. The first one is. It's
just such a good start.
It is a good setup. I'd have to rewatch it though, because all the Hobbit movies, especially the second and third, the third for sure, they're all just a big blur to me, to where I do not even remember what happened. So I desperately need to rewatch them.
Based on, like, you know, how I've seen people react to Rings of Power, surely people can acknowledge The Hobbit's better, right?
Oh, well, yeah, sure. I mean, for sure. I haven't finished The Rings of Power. God, I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Okay, the next movie I watched was just a completely random watch. I was just scrolling through Hulu, and this movie it looked interesting, and it's called I Love My Dad. It came out in 2022.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned that, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of briefly talked about it on the last episode, just like how Julia wanted to watch it too, and this movie is such a surprise. Like, it's it's such a wholesome but kind of weird movie at the end of the day, because Patton Oswalt is this dad that's trying to reconnect with his estranged son who doesn't want anything to do with him, and the son's pretty weird, and he's like going to therapy. And he just wants to be a good dad to him, though, at the end of the day. And this isn't spoiling it because it's in the description, but the only way he finds out, the only way he thinks of to reconnect with his son is to create a fake profile on Facebook appearing as a girl and then messaging his son to talk to him just because he wants to talk to his son. And then and so they're like so then they're like bonding, but then like obviously the son wants to meet up with the girl, and it's like, oh no, what does the dad do? So it's just so basically it's about a dad catfishing his own son, but it's so heartwarming and wholesome the way it's done, and like there are some really weird, uncomfortable moments, and I was like, oh my god, this is weird, but it's really unique the way that they did it too. Check it out. I loved it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It's just a feel good, really funny, and like easy viewing movie. Very good. I like I said, I think it's the most underrated movie of 2022.
My next one was a rewatch of The Winter Soldier. This was like when I was starting to get Julia into like getting into Marvel properly, basically. Rewatched this with her over Discord. And yeah, it's still great. 9 out of 10 on rewatch. The action's super cool. Like, it moves at a really good pace. Everyone does a great job in their roles, and yeah, it's just fun.
The next movie I watched was when Nick came down to visit and hang out, so, we watched a string of movies. We watched 2001: A Space Odyssey, a little inebriated.
Nice.
I'll just say that. And holy crap, that was his first time seeing it. He mainly watches horror movies. Like, he's not like a hardcore cinephile or anything. I mean, he just mainly watches his own, that little genre, and that's it. Yeah, we both loved it. I mean, I think he loved it. I gave it another 5 out of 5, of course. It's one of my favorite movies, but this is like a kind of a different way of viewing it for sure. Amazing. I don't know what to say. I mean, at this point, I was never bored through it. Like, there's a lot of slow moments in there, but I was always kind of locked in.
And this is the string of like Park Chan-wook ones, really. But yeah, the next one was Stoker. I just said in my like reaction thing, like, fucking hell, the editing and score and sound design, like, yeah, that was like, I think the main thing that stood out the most for me. Really, really well put together movie. Like I said on that episode, the story could have been a little bit better. I don't think it's like quite as good towards the end, especially, but yeah, it's still like a really great movie, and it has like so many good qualities about it.
This was one that Nick showed me that he had seen, but I haven't, so that almost never happens. But I had never seen Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, so I'd always seen clips, but this is my first time watching through it, and yeah, great movie, amazing visuals, like one of those like, early, mid-2000s like superhero movies that just work so well, and like it doesn't look aged. I really don't think it looks aged at all. I would love to see him come back as this character, after watching this. And I know he's talked about wanting to come back and play Constantine again. Like, just, really cool character and concept. And, like, supernatural action shit. It's great. So I gave it, like, a 4 out of 5.
My next one was Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Yeah, I fucking loved it. Like I said, oh my God, it was good. I literally, I don't even know what else to say about it, because I've said all I can on that episode, and I'm all Park Chan-wooked out, and I can't wait to watch it again and talk about it more.
I rewatched Possessor, mainly because I was, wanting to watch Crimes of the Future.
Wait, Crimes of the Future? Do you mean Infinity Pool?
Oh my God, I keep getting the dad and the son mixed up. Never mind, I meant Infinity Pool. Yeah, and I still haven't seen Infinity Pool.
Me neither.
Oh my God. Their movies are so similar. Like, he's basically, like, carrying on his dad's legacy at this point. No, I actually loved Possessor on rewatch. I didn't love Possessor my first time, but, like, on rewatch, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Just everything from the visuals to the performances to the concept. Amazing movie overall, despite the slow moments. There are moments that do kind of drag, and I'm not super invested in, like, the actual story itself. Otherwise, I mean, I loved it.
My next one was a rewatch of Old Boy. I gotta say that like, you know, just to tie into what I was saying earlier about like the house that Jack built, anytime anyone brings up that or Old Boy, I just want to rewatch them instantly.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Right now
I'm becoming
I
you.
want to. yeah, you're becoming me.
Still a 5-star. Love it so much.
Of course.
And that's all I gotta say, really.
Next one, me and Nick watched House of Darkness. This came out in 2022. It just kind of flew under everybody's radar. It stars Justin Long. Yeah, it's a horror movie. Basically, this lady is like, she takes Justin Long back to her big fucking mansion castle, and he just like, he doesn't know what this situation is, and like she's acting kind of weird and sketchy, and the story unfolds, and you find out things, and I don't even want to say it because it's a mystery. I don't even bother looking at the ratings for this movie because like people rated it pretty low, but if you like mysteries and if you like dialogue driven movies, like if you're okay with like characters sitting down and talking for literally an entire movie, as long as I'm invested, I'll enjoy it. It's kind of like, you know, Ex Machina in that way. They're just people talking. If you're okay with that, you'll probably enjoy the movie. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It was pretty solid.
My next one was Lady Vengeance, and yeah, I'm still very mixed on it right now, but it's starting to feel a little bit better now that I've sat with it for a while. Not much else to say about it, but yeah, it's just the first half was a little bit rough for me, but yeah, the second half definitely makes up for it in many areas, so I want to rewatch it at some point, but that's how I feel for now.
I showed Nick the menu. I don't know if this rating went up or not for me. I think it actually stayed the same, but better the second time, or as good. Great movie. I know we talked about it on that one last episode, or one of those last episodes. Whatever I said then, I mean, I don't know what more I can say about it other than check it out.
My next was the last of the Park Chan-wook marathon for that day, and it was I'm a Cyborg, but that's okay. We talked about this again on that episode. All I said in my first reaction was, bruh, what the shit was this? I really just don't know what to think about it. It's kind of bad.
It's his worst movie, but that's okay.
Yeah, nice. There you go.
Yeah. The next watch was me and Nick watched Mandy a little bit inebriated.
Oh my.
So similar to you. That was a weird coincidence how we both decided to do that. I'm not going to lie, both the times I did that for 2001 and Mandy, I feel like Nick did the right amount. I didn't hardly. I know it could have been a better experience for me. I could have done more or something. It just didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. Even regardless of whatever headspace I'm in, Mandy's always going to be at 5 stars. Like, yeah. I'm always going to love it no matter what. Perfect. I mean, it's just a perfect movie.
My next one was a rewatch of Civil War, Captain America Civil War. For me, like, this one is better than Winter Soldier. Like, I know that that's kind of a bit of an unpopular opinion among some people, and that's totally fine. Yeah. I don't know, I prefer it because I really like a lot of the ways that, like, the characters interact, and I love, like, how the story unfolds, like, towards the end, because it's actually, like, a really big deal for, like, Tony and Steve. Like, their like, whole friendship is, like, really, really tested by the end of it and shit, and I like that. Yeah. Like, it feels like it has actual stakes to it because of the fact that, like, they really just did not talk much after that. They felt like they were falling apart. It's a really, really cool story, and, like, I just love the action in it. I think it's so much fun. I still gave it a, like, 10 out of 10 on rewatch. I just love it. I think for what it is, it's, like, just great.
That same night after watching Mandy, then me and Nick threw on Airplane. The 1980 comedy.
God, I still have to see that.
So we needed something a bit light, you know, after that. Yet another just classic, perfect comedy. Like, it's just hilarious. It's like one of the first satire kind of movies. So ridiculous, and like, you couldn't make that movie today, some of the jokes, but it just works so well. It's an iconic comedy for a reason, so you gotta watch it.
My next was a rewatch of Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah, it's like, I feel like it gets worse every time I watch it, but even then, like, it's an 8 out of 10 for me right now. When I started off, I was like, damn, this is so good, this was so much fun. That whole, like, end credits and shit was, like, mind-blowing for me, because it was, like, the start of that whole, like, multiverse, like, type thoughts like entering everyone's brain. Like they were just like, what if, what's going on here? J. Jonah Jameson is in the MCU.
Yeah.
It was just like the start of all that. So I think like while I was watching it the first time, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. As a movie, it's sort of worsened a little bit, even though I do love a lot about it. I just think Jake Gyllenhaal is the highlight, honestly. He's so good.
He is good, but I just wish that, they didn't kind of throw away his character like that.
That's the only downside. Yeah. Good movie.
Next one I watched was Crimes of the Future. I was like really torn between a 3.5 and a 4, and overall good movie. It's very weird. It moves pretty slow. The concept is weird. You really have to be like into the characters and the story to really care. The movie looks kind of cheap. Like it kind of looks like Cosmopolis is one of his other movies, because it looks really cheap, but I'm kind of fine with that. Like it adds to that sci-fi quality charm. Overall, I'll stick to my 4 out of 5. It's a weird, great movie. It's slow, but if you're into the characters and the story, then you'll enjoy it. Everyone did good. Your girl, Leah Sado, she did good. And Kristen Stewart was kind of a weird character. I don't know if she did a very good performance, but it was cool seeing her, I guess. Same with Viggo Mortensen.
Well, the next one was when Julia arrived here. The first movie we watched together in theaters was The Whale.
Oh, obviously our episode will be out about that now, so check out The Whale Zone.
The Whale Zone. It was a really good episode. I loved our whole discussion on that.
Me too.
I don't know what else to say about The Whale. It's just so much.
I don't know what to say either, because, we pretty much talked about everything in that episode, and you have to watch it. The next one I watched, yet again, check out the Chan-wook Chads, because I watched Lady Vengeance, which was, the last Park Chan-wook movie I watched, before that episode. So, 5 out of 5 for me. It's my second favorite Park Chan-wook, and that probably won't change. It was the closest he ever came to capturing the old boy feeling for me in terms of the music and the editing and the story and all that. So, just check it out. It's amazing.
My next was a rewatch of Infinity War. Still a 10. Still a fucking 10. It's still just so good.
Absolutely.
It's obviously never going to give off like that feeling that you felt like the first time seeing it again, but it's still just like such a good movie. I don't know, it's just so fun seeing all of these characters come together in like the weirdest ways.
No, that was an amazing theater experience. Like, that's top 3 Marvel MCU for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Next one I watched, which we will probably get more into this when we do our M. Night episode, but I watched Knock at the Cabin in theaters.
Yep.
I'm happy to say I liked it. You never know with M. Night these days. It could be good, could be bad, whatever. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought this was, definitely his best movie since Split. Split's definitely better. Which, even though that's not saying much, that's after Glass and Old, so like...
yeah.
It's really not saying much, but still, good cast, interesting story, worth a watch for sure.
My next one was a rewatch of Endgame. So I watched those two sort of within the same space of each other, with Julia and my 2 cousins when we were at the Airbnb. So I brought like my soundbar to the Airbnb and just like blasted Infinity War and Endgame and whatever, and it was so good, like just seeing it again. And Endgame is still just like fucking amazing, obviously. What else is there to say about it?
Next one I watched, this was a pretty interesting one because they were doing this public showing of this movie at the theater after Yang. It's got Colin Farrell, same director as, his name's, Kogonada? God, I almost butchered that. They were doing a showing of that, and the author, apparently it was based off of a short story, and the author of the short story was actually there at our theater in Little, South Dakota watching it. And so that was pretty cool because we watched the movie, then afterwards had a Q&A with the author, and like I asked a couple questions, and like he got to answer them, and that was cool. It was very cool. So I've never had like a Q&A thing like that. It got to experience that, but maybe that added on why I loved the movie so much. And I've been kind of lenient on movies lately, but I gave it a 5-star because I just could not think of anything wrong with the movie, and it's really impactful, and like just well made and looks amazing, and just everything about it, it was a amazing movie. I still have to watch his first movie though too.
I really did want to see it. I never got around to it.
It's very good.
My next one was a rewatch of No Way Home.
Marvel up in here. Man.
Yeah, I mean, it was like all to like prepare Julia for like the movie that was coming out, which I'll talk about after. That was another one that we watched in the Airbnb with like the soundbar and shit and blasted it, and it was just a ton of fun. I still love it so much. Like, literally the only thing I don't like in there is just that one Willem Dafoe line. Like,
oh my god.
I just don't...
something of a scientist myself.
It's still so awkward. This is my third time watching it, and I'm just like, this comes out of nowhere, man. Please.
And it doesn't make any sense, because it's the same Willem Dafoe in the first movie that said that, so why would he just say it again?
God knows.
Would you ever just randomly say that? Like,
no,
say something
I wouldn't.
Like, no.
It works aside from that, in my opinion.
I watched Tar. Have you watched House of Cards?
You know I have. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, obviously, yeah. I get mixed up who's watched what in terms of shows. I'm not the only one to make this connection. Micah also made this connection. But Tar feels like... It kind of felt like a big House of Cards episode. Some politics in there, but in the music world, like the classical music world, it looks like it could have been directed by David Fincher. That's another thing, too. Like,
wow.
It's... Like, the style was really good. Very kind of slow, but interesting at the same time. Pretty long. The performances were good. The music was good. You know, all that. It's just kind of like I don't want to say a tragic character piece, but like, you know, it's a good character drama, and Cate Blanchett was really good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
My next one, on the same day that we rewatched Endgame No Way Home, was Quantumania. We went in theaters to see that. We were very excited. We had just gotten off Infinity War and Endgame and No Way Home, and boy, my god, it's, not good. Like, I saw that you did your review a bit, updated it a little bit, and I guess you'll talk about that later, but yeah, it's just, right now, I still really don't like it, and it keeps worsening the more I think about it.
The next movie I watched, this was on Valentine's Day, the 14th. This is a really stupid tradition I have, and I only started it last year, and it doesn't even apply anymore because now I'm in a relationship. Last year I watched Antichrist on Valentine's Day, and so this year I rewatched Antichrist on Valentine's Day.
Right.
Just cause it's just a funny anti-Valentine's Day movie, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, why not just watch that? Not that I don't like Valentine's Day now, but I'm just saying. I actually watched the director's commentary of it this time, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was not the best director's commentary. If it was just Lars talking through the movie, I would have been fine, but there's this guy interviewing him throughout the movie, and then like asking him about the technical aspects of the movie, and I was just kind of like, I don't find that part of it interesting. I want to hear Lars talk about the story and shit.
Yeah.
They were just kept talking about like the type of cameras he used and like all that. So it was basically a director's commentary watch of it. I mean, the movie itself, for me, it's a 5. I love it.
It's a great movie. We, like, on the night, like, after Quantumania, we dropped, like, my cousins off at home or whatever and went back to the Airbnb, and then we ended up getting inebriated again. As I'll just call it that. Like, the morning after, it sort of, like, lingered on a little bit. I was basically like, I'm really not sure if I want to watch a new movie right now. I'm not sure if I can process it right now. But Julia was like, no, we're watching this. We watched The Fisher King from 1991 with Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges, and it's directed by Terry Gilliam. It's a bit, like, sort of blurry for me right now. Like, I did really like it. I don't really know what to think about it right now, because it's just... It feels like it's sort of a mix of, like, this really weird storytelling and weird presentation, but it's also, like, a sort of generic story underneath all of that. So I don't really know, like, what to think about it, because it's just, like, mixing those two doesn't always, like, I don't know, communicate that well to me. But it's still, like, really good. Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams are amazing in it. Like, they're great. Yeah, I feel like I need to watch it again to really figure out what it's all about.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
It's really good. Like, I mean, in a lot of moments, like, it's really, really good.
Next one I watched was a pretty special movie, I guess, because it was my first Terrence Malick movie.
I've seen his first 3.
Some people were messaging me afterwards, like, saying, like, wow, it's bold of you to start with that one. But I was like, because I watched
now I know what it
Night
is.
of Cups.
Yeah.
Night of Cups, which is like...
I think I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Why?
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but it's just a weird start because I only
It
heard
is a
from
weird
people
start,
that it was
but
bad.
I only watched it because I looked at the cast and I was like, Christian Bale, Natalie Portman, like, come on, I have to watch this. It was one of his few movies that was actually streaming at the moment, so I threw it on, and I can totally see, like, why people would hate this. It just feels like nothing happens, and it's barely even a movie, but it's a weird series of, like, scenes and montages and just, like, music. The movie feels really abstract. It's just super abstract. It'll like really give you a lot to think about for like existential shit, you know, because I mean it's basically Christian Bale wandering around interacting with different people, just like narrating how, you know, he feels like his life is kind of just slipping by and like none of these things really matter, and he's like super rich and like a playboy basically, you know. I mean, but
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, basically Bruce Wayne, but he feels like his life just like could have more meaning, and like, he's so jaded by everything. So I don't know, it was just really interesting. I rated it pretty highly just because I've never seen a movie quite like it, and I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5. But I really can't wait to watch more of his stuff.
When she showed me The Fisher King and whatever, like we ended up watching 3 movies in that day. So she showed me that, and then I ended up showing her Bronson. So
oh hell yeah!
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh, isn't it?
It just never gets old. And I've said this many times over the years, but like it's one of the 2 movies that got me into films in general, and it will always be that for me. Like it's just so good. I could watch it non-stop and I would still be entertained every time. It's so fucking good.
Right, like it's just hilarious. It's dark. It's fucking everything.
And my god, the soundtrack, the cinematography, Tom Hardy.
Oh, the soundtrack's incredible. Yeah, soundtrack is incredible.
I'll do it for a 3rd time on this podcast. When I'm a rock and roll. When I'm a rock and roll. Oh my god.
Next movie I watched was I wanted to watch this because it was the same director as Tar, and this was after I watched Tar, and I never even heard of it, but it's called Little Children. It stars Kate Winslet and Patrick Wilson, Jennifer Connelly, so like a good cast, and it's just like pure like character drama, and like the way that it follows different characters and like their stories kind of like converge. It totally gave me American Beauty vibes.
Oh,
like
wow.
Total straight up yeah, the movie just looks and sounds and feels like American Beauty for some reason. Like I don't know if everybody will get that, but I actually loved it. Like I was like totally pulled into the story and the characters. It was a quite amazing movie, so I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 again.
Nice.
Like yeah, really nice surprise. I actually like it more than Tar. I like it more than Tar. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's slightly more.
Yeah, we ended up watching 3 movies. The third was Julia showing me Marathon Man from 1976. It's from the director of Midnight Cowboy. I don't know if you've seen that.
Heard of it. Definitely heard of it.
Yeah, I really was not a fan of Midnight Cowboy at all. I find it just really annoying, honestly, and I don't like the characters all that much. Like, I know it's a popular movie and people like it, that's fine, but I'm not a fan. But Marathon Man is from the same director. It's also got Dustin Hoffman. I don't like it. I don't like it very much, no. I watched it with Julia, and we were just, like, you know, having a good time and, like, talking while watching it and stuff, and that was cool, but, like, I don't think the movie is very good, honestly. Like, it does have, Roy Scheider in it, though. He's good in it. But he's probably the best part. But I do have to say this, like, I'm yet to be proven wrong, and maybe I'll watch more movies with him and it'll be better. But I don't think Dustin Hoffman is a good actor.
Oh, man.
Have
you seen The Graduate?
I have not.
Okay, but to be fair,
from what I've
I shouldn't even...
From what I've seen, I don't think he's a good actor at all.
Yeah, actually, I shouldn't even say... Like, The Graduate is probably his best movie, but I'm not gonna lie, his performance is always, like, one of the worst things about that movie for me.
Yeah.
He is so awkward and wooden in that movie, but, like, I don't know. I never, like, thought of him as a bad actor, but The Graduate is a good movie.
I wouldn't say he's bad. He's just like, it feels like he's not trying a lot of the time.
Next one I watched, we already talked about this. I watched The Whale, gave it 5 stars. Listen to our last episode if you want to hear all the details about that.
Get in the whale zone.
And my review on Instagram if you want. Why not?
My next one was showing Julia Sweeney Todd, 10 out of 10 all fucking day. Oh my god. It's still so good. I'm really glad that she loved it as well, because I was really not sure for a while, because she wasn't really saying much during the movie, and I was like, is she enjoying this? And then like afterwards she was just like, Jesus Christ, I fucking love that. And so I guess she was just really wrapped up in it.
A good thing I rewatched this, because considering what our next episode is going to be probably, but I rewatched The Happening.
I need to watch that for the first time. I can't wait.
I shouldn't even call it a rewatch, because I feel like I've only seen clips. Like, I didn't even see the entire movie before this last time, so it's basically a first time watch, honestly, with having seen almost all the other scenes. Everyone hates this movie. I don't care. I had so much fun with it, and I was never really bored, and it's quotable, and the concept is cool, despite not being executed like, the best. I mean, the concept is cool. I find it kind of creepy at parts, but also just kind of hilarious at parts, and so I gave it a 4 out of 5 based on pure entertainment value. 4 out of 5.
I'm excited to watch it.
I loved it.
My next one was when we went on that like road trip. Julia showed me Creepshow from 1982, and that was my first George Romero movie.
Nice.
And it was a banger. It's so fun.
God, I can't believe I haven't seen that yet.
It's just like 5 like short stories in one, and it's like sort of based on this whole like comic thing. So it's like a bunch of short stories, but they're all like really, really well put together, and I just loved it. Like the one with Hal Holbrook in it especially is just so fucking funny. And the one with Leslie Nielsen, like I never thought I'd see Leslie Nielsen be like really creepy, but he is. Like, it's really good. Like I think you would enjoy the shit out of it. It's really fun.
I think I would too. I've only seen maybe 3. I've seen like actually 3 or 4 George Romero movies, but that would be up there. I know that Creepshow would be up there. Next one I watched. This was also yet another just... Oh, never mind. God, I have to say Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I almost skipped it for a second. But yeah, I watched that. Listened to our Whale Zone episode. My first watch, I gave it 2.5 out of 5. So basically 5 out of 10. MODOK, baby. Watch it for him.
No, fuck MODOK. Oh my god. They ruined him. They ruined him. I changed
the letterbox poster to MODOK.
I'm sure you did.
Oh man.
My next one was like the last one that we watched while we were on that road trip as well. Julia hadn't seen this in like a long time, and she didn't remember it very well. And I said, you know, like I've watched this while drunk or high like multiple times, and like it just keeps getting better every time I watch it. So I showed her Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And like this movie, like every single time I watch it, it feels like it's going higher and higher up on my list every time of like top movies of all time. Wow. I can't get over how fucking perfect this movie is. Like, holy shit. And it's from the guy who directed The Fisher King, which he showed me as well. Like, Terry Gilliam. He directed Brazil. I haven't seen that yet, but yeah. I want to see more from him.
Did she like it?
We were both very high, but yeah, she liked it.
Good.
It's just like, I kept saying while we were watching as well, like I kept saying to her, people who have watched this movie without any like substances going on or whatever, like do not understand how great this movie is. Like if you watch it while high, it's like, it feels like something is like being awakened in you. Like you just, you understand all that the characters are feeling. You understand why the movie is put together the way it is. Everything about it is so perfect. I love it.
Wow. I still have to watch it, so I mean I can't wait at this point. I watched this movie on like this random obscure movie on Hulu from 2022 called Brian and Charles. It's shot mockumentary style, so like it's following this guy around, you know, and he's like showing all the stuff he does. He's like a lonely inventor that invents these stupid things, but it's like a dark comedy at the same time, like a comedy. And he ends up somehow invents this like robot with actual artificial intelligence, and his body is like a washing machine, and he has this like fucking like clothing over it, and it looks so weird, and he has a mannequin head on it, and it's like... It's a super wholesome movie, though. It went from, like, a kind of weird, funny, dark comedy to, like, a wholesome buddy comedy. Oh, my... You gotta watch it, because it's like, it's short and sweet, it's feel good, like it's funny, it's very funny. So I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. So like I didn't love it, but I had a fun time watching it. Not much else to say about that. Just weird robot buddy movie.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
We got back from that whole trip and came back home here, and I showed Julia Shoplifters. Still a 10 out of 10 for me. I just love it. The story is so beautiful. The characters are incredible. It gives you so much that you don't even expect towards the end. Like, you really just don't know how to feel after it ends. I love that it gives you this really conflicting tone when it ends, because it's just like, fuck, man. Like, you felt like you were feeling so many like wholesome and like beautiful things up until that point, and then you're like, what now? I don't know. It's just amazing. I love it.
It's been on my list even like before we were talking about watching it, so like I still have to. Next movie I watched, that new low budget horror movie that everybody was talking about called Skinamarink.
Yeah, I really want to watch that.
It's such a divisive movie. I've never seen another horror movie quite like it, to where I could totally see why people hate it. Just the way it's so low budget. It's so low budget and abstract and kind of like simple, and like a lot of the camera shots are literally of like, here's a ceiling and you're just kind of hearing things, and then here's the carpet and you're just kind of hearing things, and everything's so lo-fi and staticky. So for a while I was like, this is really kind of slow, I'm not like loving it. But by the end, the ending made me so uncomfortable, and I was like legit like not wanting to look at the screen because of how fucking creepy the imagery was, and I didn't know if like what was going to happen. It's been so long since a movie's done that for me. The first horror movie in a while that affected me like that since Hereditary, probably. So that's a big deal. Go into it with an open mind and be prepared for a slow, kind of weird, very experimental horror movie. But by the end of it, like if it hooked you, then you'll be like, it'll affect you. It will. So I give it a 4 out of 5.
My next one was Julia showing me Jane Eyre. I actually didn't know Michael Fassbender was in it.
He's part of the reason I was wanting to see it.
Yeah. I mainly like was, looking forward to it because of Mia Wasikowska, just because I watched Stoker recently and I was like, where's she been? Like, she's actually quite good, and she's even better in Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is like really, really good. Period piece movies are really hit or miss for me, but this one was really, really good actually. I just felt like the story was really engaging, and the way the characters interact is really beautiful. I love the way that it played out. I don't like totally love it or anything right now, but it's really, really good. My next one was Knock at the Cabin. I said in like that first reaction, like basically Julia just told me how the book ends, and now I'm mad at M. Night again.
Same thing happened to me, to where after the movie I found out how the book ends, and I'm like, it should have ended that way.
I feel like the reason that it wasn't is because it's, a movie that's appealing to mass audiences, and they wouldn't be able to process that kind of stuff as well. And also, M. Night hasn't really done stuff that's like that fucked up.
We might have to spoil some stuff right now.
Spoilers for Knock at the Cabin, the book, and the movie.
Well, so how does the book... I remember the book ends with, doesn't the daughter die?
Yeah, they were saying that, she was saying to me that apparently, they were struggling to come to a decision, basically, and they were, like, wrestling with a gun, and then the daughter accidentally gets shot. And, like, after that, that's when Leonard decides to kill himself and all that shit. It just felt like that was a much more, like, bleak and fucked up ending that I would have liked to see. But this one, it was, way more hopeful and weird. And
yeah, they totally Hollywoodized it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Hollywood, whatever, like, to where, like, the world is saved. Like, in the book, then did the world get saved because of that daughter getting shot? Or did that not even count as a sacrifice because it wasn't intentional?
I don't know.
I'd have to read the book. I kind of want to read the book, honestly. Like,
yeah, I mean, it seems interesting.
I didn't mind how they did it in the movie, just because I went into the movie not knowing anything about the book, so I was kind of viewing it as its own thing. And I feel like, though, M. Night's not too afraid to do some fucked up stuff, because even in Old...
Spoilers for Old!
We're gonna have to talk about all of this when we do M. Night episode, but in Old, then when the two kids get older, and one of them is the kid from Hereditary, and then that other girl, and then they like basically have a baby, and then the baby dies because it wasn't like touched enough or held enough or something. The
Yeah, it's
baby
pretty
just
fucked
died.
up, I guess.
So that's probably the most fucked up thing he's done that I
Yeah.
can think of.
But that shit was just hysterical, like, in the moment.
It was.
For me.
It was. You can't even take it seriously. So no, he's not afraid to do that, but I don't know why he had to change the book. Maybe that was his twist with this movie. Oh, I'm changing the book ending.
Oh my, yeah, I
Like,
guess.
Maybe. Because he has to always do a twist, so I mean...
Regardless, like, that, all of that aside, Knock at the Cabin is a good movie. I did enjoy it, and I think it's, like, way better than Old, way better than Glass. At the very least, fucking goddamn Batista's great. I love him.
He was great. I would say that about
I wanted more
everybody.
Rupert Grint, though. God damn
know,
it.
Me too. I'm telling you, man, though, if you ever even just start a free trial on Apple TV, because they last, like, months.
I'm gonna watch Severance, don't you worry.
Yes. No, Servant.
Servant. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Servant. I mean, you love your Harry Potter, so I know you probably want to watch more Rupert Grint. So, like, he is so good in Servant. He's hilarious. But he's also, like, serious. I liked seeing him in Knock at the Cabin, but Servant is... He must, like, be collaborating with Shyamalan a lot now, because, I mean...
God, that was a
Servant
mouthful.
I know, Shyamalan
Shyamalan a lot now.
Shyamalama Ding Dong. That's what my dad
Shyamalan a
calls
lot.
him.
Shyamalan a lot now. That's good.
He must be collaborating with Shyamalan a lot. Oh my god, that's terrible.
That's an episode title for that next one.
Shyamalan a lot. No, for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or Shyamalama Ding Dong. One of the two.
God.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Knock at the Cabin in the next episode. Next one, we already talked about it ad nauseum. It's The Whale. I rewatched it in theaters before it left. I had to. And yeah, just as good, if not better, the second time. I picked up on even more details the second time. Just fucking masterpiece. Really is.
Well, my next one was... I finally did it, Quinn. It finally happened. Julia showed me Phantom Thread.
Oh, finally. Gosh.
Yeah. I
liked it.
I did, and you know, like I said in that first reaction, I wouldn't say this right off the bat usually, but yeah, that's kind of a fucking masterpiece. Like,
it really is. Yeah, and it's your first Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. I'm really glad that I finally got to watch it, because, like, I mean, even though it was kind of annoying, people just, like, constantly being like, watch Phantom Thread, like, it's still just such a great movie. I loved it. I ended up really loving it. I have to say, like, Alma is the glue that held it together for me. Like, she's such a good character. Such a good character.
Is.
I just loved her.
She is a really nice, sweet character, but, like, you feel bad for her, the shit she has to get put up with, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think that's the reason. It's just because, like, you know, I felt so much sympathy for the way that she was feeling during this whole movie.
For me, the glue that holds it together is Daniel Day-Lewis's character, Reynolds Woodcock. Oh,
yeah.
They just always call him Mr. Woodcock or something. But, like, I don't know. I don't even know where to start. Like, yeah, it's a masterpiece, and Daniel Day-Lewis's everyone's performance is amazing. But, like, I can't wait for you to watch There Will Be Blood, though. That is his best performance. It was my favorite PTA for the longest time.
I can't wait to watch it as well, but with this one, like, I don't know, during it, I was just like, you know, I don't really like this character very much, because he's just a dick, like, a lot of the time, and, like, he is, like, he totally is, but it's just, the more the movie went on, I was just like, I'm starting to understand, like, why he is the way he is now, and it's just sort of one of those things where it's like, these are two very different people, but they can still love each other. That's what I love about it so much, you know?
Mm-hmm. Man, but that relationship is so complicated with just, like,
yeah.
Oh my god, I have to do it again.
Spoilers for Phantom Thread.
The way that she kept, like, just poison him a little bit here and there, just to, like, you know, humble him. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, what a toxic relationship.
It's full of so much love in this at the same time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like,
just so special.
It's really kind of strange, but, like, yeah, wholesome and, like, whatever.
It's one of those movies where I did not even, like, check my phone or anything. I just was glued to the screen the entire time. It's just amazing.
It's a masterpiece for sure. Next one I watched was Stop Making Sense, the live performance movie from Talking Heads.
I know a lot about that. Keelan loves Talking Heads, and I see you do too now.
Fuck yeah, we'll get to that. So this very recently in the midst of my obsession about this band. I can see why this is considered maybe the greatest concert film ever. Like, people always call it the greatest concert film ever, and yeah, it's amazing, really fun to watch, and kind of like crazy and unpredictable, and the songs are really good. I thought I was gonna give it a 5, but I actually gave it a 4.5, just because some of the songs, they're actually like maybe one song is better live than the original, which I didn't expect to happen, but a lot of the other songs, they just don't quite do it. Like, it doesn't sound the same live, and I'm very picky, I guess, when it comes to that, but whatever. It's an amazing concert film. It's just, really fun to watch.
My next one was a rewatch. I showed this to Julia. It was the last movie that I showed her before she went, and it was T2 Trainspotting. I know you haven't seen Trainspotting yet, or T2. This movie, like, it started off as like a sort of 7 out of 10 for me, and I wasn't really even sure about that. I was just like really disappointed in it, and I didn't know what to think. But like, then I rewatched it like years later. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I felt like it improved like a little bit, but not like by heaps. But on this one, it's a 10. I don't know what really like happened to make me feel that way, but it's just, there's a really like special element to it, I think, because it doesn't try and follow in the footsteps of Trainspotting. It's like a good statement on like that kind of way of thinking when it comes to like, films coming out with like, sequels like years later or whatever. Like it gives you this thing where it's like, maybe you want it to be just like Trainspotting because you're such a big fan of it, but we're not going to give you that. We're going to give you a movie that's about all of these characters that are so stuck in the past that they can't see everything going on around them. And like, I think that's just clever. Like, it is clever, and it's just like such a beautiful thing. The way these characters all interact with each other in this movie, it's amazing. It has so many funny moments as well. It's beautiful looking. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's a perfect movie. I can't fault it.
The next one, the only reason I rewatched this was because I had nothing else going on that night. Chandra was going in to watch it. It's at the theater, and she was going to go in and watch Ant-Man, and I had nothing else going on, so I was just getting off my shift, and I was like, I'll go in and rewatch it too, because I wanted to like it more. Watching it in theaters again, knowing what I was getting into with somebody else, kind of improved my experience a little bit. Like, we kind of were laughing at some of the dumb moments in MODOK's reveal. It was just some moments were a bit more fun. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's still not a good movie, but like, whatever. It's very cheesy, dumb fun. I don't know, just 3 out of 5.
My next one, this was while me and Julia were extremely high. And it was one of the last nights that she was going to be here, like literally like a day before she left, so we just messed around and decided to do that and watch 2 movies. But the first one was The Emperor's New Groove. We rewatched that.
Oh yeah.
And it's still a banger. It's still so good.
It's a childhood classic right there.
Yeah, it's just fucking great. Like, watching it while high was a bit weird because like I felt like some moments like didn't feel quite the same as when I was a kid, and I don't know, I feel like that upset me while I was in that state of mind for some reason. But I mean, even then, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I still love it. It's got these really like great self-aware jokes that I love. There's that one bit, I don't know if you remember very well, but like where they go on that whole chase where like, Yzma and Kronk are like chasing Kuzco and Pacha through like a ton of different like hills and shit, and it's like got this whole like map thing where it's like following them like on like a little dotted line.
Yeah.
Then they get there and it's like, wait, how the hell did they get here before us? And then like Kronk pulls out the map and he's like, I don't know, by all accounts it doesn't make sense. I was like, this is fucking great. This is hilarious.
Man, I'd have to rewatch that because I literally have not seen it since I was a kid. So I have not seen it as an adult.
Some of the jokes are so good still.
The next one I watched, this was the latest movie that we got at our theater here in town, Women Talking.
Oh boy. Two things I don't like. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man. I'm sure you're kidding, yeah. Yeah. I didn't even... I really wanted to like this movie, and I actually thought that I was going to like it because I like the cast. I like the director, not from her like her other movies, but she's a character in the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, actually, like one of the main girl in that, and she's a director of this apparently. But I wrote like a long kind of rant review of it, but I don't even know if I'm gonna post it. But like the movie looked ugly.
It does look really fucking ugly.
Yeah. It looked ugly. It was so desaturated. It has the same boring camera angles. The dialogue is honestly pretty poor and repetitive and cringy, and it's kind of just gets stale after a really short amount of time. It starts getting stale because like the plot is basically, it's this, they're in this religious community, this like group of women, and the town's men are like assaulting them like on a regular basis, and they're living in these miserable conditions, and all the women kind of secretly get together and try and decide, whether they should stay and fight or leave. So like the whole movie is just all these women arguing over what they should do, and that's all it is until they finally make a decision in the end. And by the time they made a decision, I was so checked out I didn't even care. I just thought the dialogue was it's kind of funny because it was either always overwritten or underwritten. It never felt natural because like they're constantly giving these long monologues and like trying to give this powerful performance that you could just so obviously tell we're gonna get an Oscar with this. This is gonna be the preview clip that they play during this long monologue, and it's gonna fucking happen. I know it is.
That's so annoying. Oh my god.
It is. It was really annoying, and I really wanted to like it. That's the worst part. So it could have been done so much better, and I'm really just disappointed in the way it was done. It was just kind of unengaging and repetitive and just not as interesting as it could have been. So I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Well, the second one that we did on that like high rewatch thing after The Emperor's New Groove was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
I was wondering why you watched that. I was like, did she show him that or
no? It was a rewatch, and it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on rewatch, but I really don't feel like it's even warranting that. Like maybe like a 6 even. I don't know. It's so fucking slow. And it's a movie that's like 83 minutes long. My god, like some moments just take forever. Like the entire sequence where like the dwarves are just like going back into their house and they realize like someone's been sleeping there because Snow White's been there. They take like a full, I am certain it was like a full fucking 20 minutes for them to even like get up the stairs to see Snow White. Like it was excruciating, and I was high.
Wow.
And even then, I was just not having it. I was like, oh my god, get up the fucking stairs. But they were just doing all this goofy shit where it's like, oh, we're going up the stairs, and like, oh, Dopey tripped over it. Oh no. It's like, oh my god, fuck, get on with it.
Oh man.
It's just so annoying. Like, I get it's for kids, but yeah.
Yeah, yet again, I haven't seen that since I was probably a child, so.
It tested my patience in the moment, but like, yeah, it's a good movie. Like, for its time, definitely. It's very good. I've got one more.
Okay, I have one more too. So my last watch, this was yet again for the rotation of movie choices between me, Chandra, and Micah. Chandra's choice this time to where she wanted to show us The Phantom of the Opera at the Royal Albert Hall. That's the full title. It's not a movie. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this because it's basically a bunch of different camera angles of this big actual musical play, The Phantom of the Opera, in an actual opera house in front of a live audience. So you're basically just watching a real life play or musical. It was done very well. The songs were actually great. The story I didn't really care that much about, but the songs were great, and the performances and the singing and all that, the showmanship, the presentation, it was really well done. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Like, it's not a real movie, but it was great performances, I guess. I never would have watched something like this on my own. It was good for what it was.
My last one was Steve Jobs.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, it was my first time watching it, and it is very good. I don't totally love it right now. I don't know how it'll feel like over time or whatever, but I guess I didn't expect like the way that it's structured, because it's like sort of 3 different events basically, and I didn't expect that. Like I wanted to know more about like Steve Jobs and all that shit, and I was interested in that. I don't know, some moments I was just kind of like, I don't care. I don't know. maybe it'll get a bit better, like, you know, on a rewatch or something like that. Like Julia was saying to me, because she's the one who showed this to me, this was the last movie we watched together. She was telling me beforehand, like, you know, it's written by Aaron Sorkin as well, and I actually prefer this to The Social Network, and I was like, that's fucking blasphemy. And I still feel that way, honestly, because I love The Social Network way more than this, but I still did really like this movie, so...
I like The Social Network just a hair more as well, probably, but man, the more I think about it, they are really close, and like, Michael Fassbender fucking stole the show, and the
he's great,
was so good. Phenomenal, really great movie. I need to rewatch it. I think I own it now, actually. Well, shit, that's all the movies. Oh my gosh, and we still have music.
And listener questions. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. All right. So the last album I listened to the last time we caught up was Long Live ASAP by A$AP Rocky. This next one after that, I also continued with his discography. I'm just going to lump these two together because it was his last 2 albums. They're At Long Last ASAP and Testing. Both I gave a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed them. It kind of mixes like rap with pop elements and R&B. Mainly At Long Last ASAP. Testing is where it gets really more experimental and kind of rougher around the edges, you know, as the title kind of says, testing. Like he's testing with new sounds, and like I can't wait for his next album because like he's heading in a better direction, I think, with his music from just generic rap, you know. He's moving in a better direction.
I really got to give him a go.
Good stuff. His early stuff is rough, but I really do like his last album.
He can do another one after that. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh yeah, this was a new album that came out at the end of last year called Heroes and Villains. It's the new album by Metro Boomin, who's mainly a rap producer, a music producer, but he doesn't like rap or sing on it, but he produced all of these tracks and brought all these artists together, all these different rappers together and singers and all that. It was a surprisingly great album. Like the songs are super catchy, the production is super slick and like just sounds really good. It's got everybody from like The Weeknd to, you know, a bunch of other kind of modern rappers that people might know or might not, but you know, it was great. I gave it another 4 out of 5.
Hell yeah. The last one I did was Contra Void by Contra Void. So the one I listened to after that was Laurel Hell by Mitski.
Oh yeah, I still have to listen to that.
Yeah, the latest Mitski. I'm just gonna say like the first line that I said in this like first reaction, same old Midski.
Oh no.
She just never changes. I like her songs here and there through her discography, but she is just one of the most like boring / mid artists ever. I just don't get the hype at all.
I think she's been consistently average, but like I don't know, I forgot the name of the album that's before Laurel Hell. That's the one that I'm on right now. And I do like the songs on that already more than a lot of her past stuff. So I can see myself enjoying her latest 2 things more than her old stuff.
Is it Be the Cowboy, the one that you're on?
Probably. I'd have to look it up. But I think you're right.
There's one song I still consistently listen to on that album, and it's Why Didn't You Stop Me? I really like that song. But I mean, yeah, Laurel Hell, like, I got nothing out of it. It's just so boring.
These next 3 are actually all by the same artist, and I enjoyed them all. And they're from Open Mike Eagle. I already talked about this guy.
God, yeah, I gotta start listening to his shit.
Yeah, underrated rapper. Seriously, like, great production, great lyrics, unique sound. His 3 albums I listened through pretty much back to back were Hella Personal Film Festival is one of them. The one after that is Brick Body Kids Still Daydream. And then after that, Rappers Will Die of Natural Causes. So those 3 albums. The one I loved, Hella Personal Film Festival. That one just had like the most catchy beats and production and like melodies to it, you know. Then the other 2 were also solid. But yeah, he's just been so consistent, this guy, and so I highly recommend him.
Very nice. The next one I listened to was Once Twice Melody by Beach House. Beach House are one of my favorite bands of all time. I've seen them in concert, loved them for a very, very long time, and this is their latest one. And it was like an hour and 20 minutes. Like, it was really, really long. Somehow, even with that, like, they still just impress me every time. I give it an 8 out of 10 on first listen. Yeah. They will probably just always be one of my favorite bands. Like, there's some experimentation occasionally in this album that doesn't always work for me, but maybe it would work better on re-listen. Regardless, I just loved it so much. I think they're an incredible band.
I've listened to their first album. I'd have to re-listen to it. I think I was working, like I was at work trying to listen to it while doing other stuff, so I wasn't fully into it, but I really want to like them. I gotta listen through their stuff.
I'd say if you're gonna listen to their second album at any point, do it like just in a very calm, dark environment, you know? Because it's really, really comforting and beautiful, and I feel like you'll get a lot out of it in that way.
Next couple, I listened to, I know that Julie's been showing you some Beck, but I don't know if you've gotten this far, because Beck has a lot of shit too, man. He has a lot. But I listened to The Information and Modern Guilt. Those are the two different albums. I feel like I never know what to say about Beck. I just don't know what more I can say.
I feel the same, honestly.
He's consistently good. He's very consistently good, and he changes up his sound, but so gradually that, like, it's not, like, so throwing me off, you know? Both were great albums. I gave both a 4 out of 5. I would still prefer his, I can't, oh my god, what's the name of that album? Oh, I forgot the names of which albums were which, but they're not, like, my favorites by him, but they're still very good, and you need to check them out. They're definitely worth it. This was way back in December, so I'm trying to even remember what the hell, like, you know, my reaction to it. I listened to, there's this kind of, I don't know if I want to say obscure, but like this rapper that not many people talk about. Her name is Tierra Whack. That's at least her rap name. Yeah, this album called Whack World is very unique. You won't hear another rap album like it, because the songs are so, you could listen to this in like 20 minutes and probably be through the album. It's so short because the songs are like a minute long each, but it's kind of frustrating because like the songs are so catchy, and then once you get into it they just end. But I really enjoyed it. It was actually a re-listen because I listened to it way back, but then I just randomly re-listened to it recently. The production is great. The beats and melody is so catchy. It just gets stuck in your head. So yeah, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. All I've heard from her yet, but she is really good.
My next one was a first time listen of Revolver by the Beatles.
Oh wow.
I've like, you know me, I go in like order of release and shit, so this felt like the first one where I actually started enjoying them, because up until then fair. It's just, it feels like the same song over and over again, basically.
Kind of does, yeah. As much as I love the Beatles, like I love them, it is kind of the same shtick over and over in their early stuff.
Revolver, like I don't know, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I didn't get like a ton out of it, but it does like differentiate from the albums before it, obviously. But it doesn't do like quite as much as I'd hoped.
I think
it is their best album. So it is their best album so far in my venture into their work. And I loved I'm Only Sleeping and Tomorrow Never Knows. I love those songs. But yeah, aside from that, I didn't get like a huge amount out of it. But it is their best so far. So I look forward to more.
And a lot of people call it their best in general, which even maybe objectively maybe it's their best, but my favorite is Magical Mystery Tour. I feel like you'll like that one too.
Do people really call Revolver their best?
People do that. Yeah, a lot of people think Revolver's their best. I mean, I love it. For me, it's like maybe a 5, but that's because I grew up with it, and I remember hearing these songs growing up, and like
maybe a re-listen would feel different. Yeah, I don't know.
Even like you didn't like the Eleanor Rigby song, Eleanor Rigby. Man,
I like the songs that I said.
Yeah,
but I'll re-listen. I'll definitely re-listen.
Next couple I listened to, I think this is an EP actually. Yeah, it's only like 4 tracks, but it's the latest music put out by Poppy. It's called Stagger, the name of the EP. Good stuff. Not like amazing. They're not quite as memorable as like her albums, but a solid set of 4 songs. Like she's heading in that more rock direction, you know, apart from like pop, which I don't know if I love that direction she's going in, but it's still good stuff.
Good old Poppy.
Good old Poppy. I finally, oh man, I'm glad I started listening to this group, but I listened to the first album by Black Midi.
Oh yeah, let's fucking go.
Schlagenheim.
Like I said, I wanted to show that to you in South Dakota.
I know. See, that would have been a good one to throw when we were driving to Sioux Falls or whatever. Yeah, we should have thrown that one. I mean, I liked the Bus Driver album too, but we should have thrown this on too.
Yeah, Schlagenheim is great.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, so good. I don't even know where to begin.
I honestly feel like nothing they bring out will surpass that, but I don't know. In the future they might, but like Schlagenheim is so special, I think.
It is so good, and like I don't know, for me, all three of their albums, it's so weird. I don't know which ones I like more and less. They're all like perfectly, I don't even know how to describe it. They're all different, but they're like, I love them all for different reasons, and I don't know which I like more, so I'd have to re-listen through all of them again probably. But I gave this like a 9 out of 10. It could honestly go up to a 10.
I noticed like a bit of a decline in their music like after that, but like even then, like they're still just such a great band. But like Schlagenheim, I don't feel like it'll be beaten.
I mean, I like some of the stuff they did in their second two albums, which I might as well just get to, because I also listened to
Cavalcade?
It's
Cavalcade.
Oh, Cavalcade and Hellfire. Yeah. I like how they implement like more almost jazz into it. That sort of, those instruments and that sound. And it almost sounds a bit more experimental, I thought. Because where the first one is almost just kind of straight up rock and metal for the most part. I liked how they experimented a bit more with those sounds in their second two albums. You know, testing new things out, and I really just have to listen through all of them again.
I appreciate how they have like tried to innovate new shit with each album. That makes me happy. Like I like when artists do that, try shit that's different, but it's not working for me as well right now. I just don't think Schlagenheim will be topped at the moment.
I really want to listen through all these again to fully say this is my favorite album, this is my least favorite. Because I at the moment, it's just a big blur, but I love it all. I know I loved all of it.
My next was Just Enough Hip to Be a Woman by Broncho. This is a band that's recommended to me by Julia. I think I talked about their first album on that last episode we did music on, but this was their second, and yeah, it fucking ruled. Like, I gave it like a 9 out of 10 on first listen. Really great, like, punk style rock. It's just super enjoyable. It like knows that genre well, and it's just so much fun. All of the songs are so engaging. It moves very quickly. I just thought it was great. Like, I don't know what else to say about it, but I loved it.
I listened to, I don't even know what makes me go out of my way to listen to some of these rappers that are, I don't even know how I heard of this guy, but his name's K-Trap, and he's a UK rapper. I just wanted to try and listen to more UK rap, and this is his first album or mixtape or something. It's called K-Trap Presents The Last Whip Mixtape. Whatever.
I was like waiting for that entire sentence to end, and I'm like, oh, it just kept going.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It's UK rap is kind of hit or miss for me. They've got some good beats, some good production, good flow. I just find UK rap kind of funny, just the way that they rap.
I think the UK like itself is like what's responsible for a lot of the best music out there. But I mean, the rap scene is a bit different sometimes.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. Apparently K-Trap is supposed to be one of like the better UK rappers out there, so that's what I've heard. So I guess, check them out if you're into that. Next two, I'll just do the next two, was I listened to the first album by Boards of Canada.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why, I randomly will add artists to my Spotify and just be like, let me just give this person a listen. It was good stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good stuff. Like, good abstract, whatever, instrumental, like, I don't know how to describe
It's Twoism, right?
Yeah, Twoism.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember the album because I listen to so much. But
it's not a huge one like for me, but like apparently it's like a very loved album.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people love that album. I didn't know
anything about this group. I definitely want to listen to more stuff like that. But I would definitely check out more of their stuff. I would, for sure. I wanted to listen. I'm not a big fan of this guy, and he passed away. He's a young rapper. They're always dying. All these young rappers nowadays. But I mean, like, rest in peace. But I wanted to listen through XXX Tentacion's stuff.
Just
because I, as a rap fan who likes to try and listen to all of it, like, he was a big influential modern person that, just came and went, and I have to listen through it. So I listened to, I don't even know if this is his first album, but it was the first that popped up on Spotify chronologically, but it's
You gotta stop doing that, Quinn.
What?
Going by Spotify, I told you, go on Wikipedia.
With guys like this, does it really matter? I mean...
Fair enough, I guess.
But, yeah, I don't know. This is called XXX Tentacion Presents Members Only Volume 3. So yeah, it makes no sense for this to be his first, but...
Wow.
Whatever. It was not that great. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and that's kind of being generous. And it's not even like he's on some of the tracks, but this is like actually a big compilation album with a lot of different rappers. The beats were good. It's some pretty heavy, hard-hitting rap beats, distorted and everything. Like, it's definitely like a sound. It got so repetitive, and it was kind of annoying at a certain point. So yeah, nothing special, honestly.
My next one was Most Normal by Gillaband, formerly known as Girl Band. Anyway, yeah, it's very noisy. It's a very noisy album. It's really hard rock noise music, and it's in your face and crazy and shit like that. But like, honestly, like I've listened to it twice now, and I feel like it's probably like their best so far. They've got 3 albums. With this one, I actually just really enjoyed the shit out of it. Like, it was just so consistently great, and I love noise music when it's done well. So this was done well, and I loved it.
The next one I listened to was, I knew I wouldn't really like this, but yet another kind of big artist I wanted to listen through their stuff. I listened to, is this their first album? Okay, it is. This is their first album, so I was trying to go in order. I listened to Badlands by Halsey. Yeah, didn't like this at all. This is just everything wrong with pop music today. Like, it's just annoying. It was bland, it was generic, it was repetitive, it was just so basic. I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. Just total throwaway radio music, that's all this is. So I don't recommend it. If you like generic pop, then I guess go for it. But I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. Not very good. You know what? The next 3 are actually all from the same person, people, and I listened to the first 3 albums from Cassiope.
Who?
Cassiope. You never heard of them? One of their... I thought you would have. I really thought you would have. Like, one of the album covers is like a race car on a track, and it's like an instrumental thing. Their self-titled album, Cassiope, I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's some of the best instrumental, kind of like jazz rock, funk, fucking whatever, music. It's just really good. If I had it on repeat, like, it's just, it's like a jazz fusion type thing, and I recommend that album for sure. Like, it's beloved by a lot of people, apparently. I gave it a 5 out of 5. For a while, it was like all I was really listening to. And then I listened to their second album, Super Flight, which was also very good. Not as good as the album before this. The album before this, like, every song was memorable and catchy to me. But this one had some throwaway tracks. It was still very good. Still, like, good experimental instrumental stuff. And then their third album after that, Makeup City, it kind of like declines in quality, to be honest, each of these albums. I gave that one a 3 out of 5. It kind of lost the magic of those first 2 albums. It wasn't as good. But either way, I've still got that first album to come back to, and it's fucking amazing stuff.
My next one was Process by Yvette. Seems like a very obscure album and artist in general, I guess, but like it literally has 1 rating on Music Board, and it's by me.
Jeez, music. I wish more people got on Music Board, man.
Yeah, but I gave it a 5 out of 10. I just said it's okay. Like, it's totally smack bang in the middle. I wanted more, like, good noise music, basically. Like, after that Gillaband album, whatever. I was just, like, looking up, some good shit by other noise artists, and I looked up this one, and it didn't interest me that much. I didn't think it was that great, but it's not bad either. It's just sort of in the middle, so... Yeah, I don't know much to say about it.
The next album I listened to, this was a kind of a re-listen, and I don't even know why I decided to re-listen to it. And to be honest, now hearing about this artist kind of makes you feel weird. I mean, because This rapper, this Korean, I think he's a Korean rapper. His name's Chris Wu, and he was part of like one of those like kind of BTS type groups. I don't know which one, but he went off and this is his solo album. He's not from like BTS, I don't think. And he did his own solo rap album. It's actually really good. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. But apparently he's like a convicted rapist. I didn't know that.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's not good. But
that is not great. You don't want that.
No. I listened to this album. This came out like 2018. I listened to this before I think the news of that came out, and before they actually removed the album from Spotify. It got like that bad. But then randomly the album is back on Spotify now for some reason, so I decided to listen to it again. And yeah, it's still good, but just if you're gonna separate the art from the artist, I guess, this guy is a piece of shit yet again. So it's just a solid rap album, like with some catchy hooks here and there and good production. But yeah, these next two albums though, I was on like a re-listen spree for a bit. For some reason, I just needed something familiar. I re-listened to fully two of the albums by Charlotte Gainsbourg. Her albums Stage Whisper and Rest. I loved them on re-listen. Like it got a switch flipped and like, I don't know. Rest I gave a 5. That's how much I enjoyed it. And Stage Whisper I gave like a 4.5. I just think she's so multi-talented, clearly. Like she can act, she can sing, she can fucking do whatever, you know? I love her music almost as much as her movies at this point. I mean, she is just so good.
My next one was the new Bjork album, Fosora.
Even I haven't listened to all that yet.
I said, like, I guess my opinion doesn't mean much to you, probably, but I said, like, in the title of my music board first reaction thing, like, I don't like Bjork much in general, but even then, this was one of her worst.
Yeah. I remember listening to a couple tracks, and I was, like, really trying to get into it. Like I've said, too, I like her early stuff way better.
Yeah.
So I don't love a lot of her new stuff, so I don't know if I'll love this or not.
It's just so meh. And, like, I listened to that Beach House album, like, in the same day, and that was, like, 30 minutes longer than this, but this still dragged more. Like, I was just like, oh my god. So, I'm not a big Bjork fan in general, as we've said many times, but yeah, it's just, this was just not good. I don't think. I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, that's alright. She's definitely not for everybody. I listened to these next two albums were both kind of like electronic, experimental, instrumental, I guess, albums. The first one was Crystal Castles by Crystal Castles.
Oh yeah, finally.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was great. It was, I don't know, sometimes you don't know how to, describe shit like this. I mean, it's out there. It's kind of experimental and like electronic and cool. I look forward to listening to more of their stuff. I really do. The next one I listened to was the first album from Neon Indian, Psychic Chasms.
I really got to get to them, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Very good. The only songs I've heard from him were actually off of like the GTA 5 soundtrack. Like they threw some of his songs on the GTA 5 soundtrack, and it was like, I remember loving it. Finally listened to his first album. Really good stuff. I kind of wish I loved it more because I only gave it a 3.5 out of 5. That's just because only a few tracks here and there really stood out. At a certain point, it kind of got a bit repetitive, but it's still a really cool sounding album. And then I listened to Magdalene by FKA Twigs because that's the next one I was on. Yeah,
I like that album.
Yeah, it was good. I was really torn between some of it. I mean, at certain points I was like not that into it, and then other tracks would come along and it would pull me back in. But I think I like her first album more than this, honestly.
Magdalene's actually the only one that I do like by her. Like I'm not a big fan of her in general, and even then Magdalene isn't like perfect or anything. I just think it's like okay. I guess she's just okay not for me that much.
I thought it was just kind of okay as well. Like, it was a solid listen, but I definitely preferred her first album, and I still will get to her latest one. But I don't love her either. I really don't.
My next one was Growing Up by the Linda Lindas. Random album that I just checked out. It was like a debut from this all-girl punk band. I gave it a 3 out of 10. Not great. It's just sort of like generic punk rock. Like, there's nothing really that new about it, and honestly, like, There was a few songs where I was like, yeah, okay, this is like fun and enjoyable and whatever. Like I'm cool with this. But like the last song on the album just left like this really bad taste in my mouth because it was called Racist Sexist Boy, and it was just like this all girl band like screaming about like men basically, and I was just like, okay, it's just nothing new. That's all I can say about it.
I gotta just lump the next four together because they're all by the same artist. And I randomly at work one day, one morning at work, I was doing my thing and had the sudden urge to re-listen through all of Poppy's albums.
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them, back to back. I was like on a Poppy spree. Oh my god, man. These albums just get better and better the more I listen to them. Poppy Computer, 4.5 out of 5. Am I a Girl? 5 out of 5. I Disagree, 4.5 out of 5. And then Flux, 4.5 out of 5. Flux was the one that surprised me because I remember telling you that was the one I was like, I don't really like the direction she's going. Like, just, she really switched up her sound, but it totally worked this time. I don't know. It was just so much better.
Right now, Flux is my favorite.
You could say any of these were your favorite, and I'd be like, yeah, it's an amazing album. I just love the gradual, like, progression of her sound to where, like, she went from just straight up pop electronic to, like, pop metal, gradually getting more and more rock and metal influence, I guess.
My next one was Waiting for the World by Wayward. They're like this duo that just brought out this one thing and then sort of stopped making music, I guess. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Like, this shit was fucking great. It's really, like, well put together, progressive electronic music that, like, really just builds up so well. The individual songs themselves are just so beautiful, and they have, like, really strange, like, textures to them. It feels like a mix of, like, I don't know, Fortet and Mode Rat. I don't even know how to describe it, though, but it's just, like, yeah, once again, they're from the UK. Like, they make the best electronic music. I don't know what it is, but I had known about, like, one song from this album from, like, a electronic mix that I heard, like, ages ago, so I decided to check out the whole album. But that song was called All a Bit Mad, and I do still like that song. But Waiting for the World, Canvey Island, Ridge Road, they're all just such good songs. I would highly recommend this album.
Literally all of these next albums, they're all by the same artist. I mean, I can do still 3 at a time, but it's their whole discography. I went through their whole discography. Talking Heads, man. I've listened through all of the Talking Heads albums twice. All twice. 8 studio albums. I listened through all of them in a row, and then I listened through all of them in a row again. I've been awakened. My mind has been... my third eye opened with this band, man. I've never been so obsessed with a band in a long time. I haven't felt this way since when I was a teenager. Then Green Day was my favorite band, and then it became Metallica. I really feel like this is the new phase of my life, to where, because I haven't listened to Metallica in like fucking forever, and I still call them my favorite band, but I've been listening to the Talking Heads like every day for weeks now, and I'm not even tired of them yet. They might be my new favorite band. They just do not miss. They don't miss, yeah. And
I will say,
so
just
unique.
before you go on, like, I've heard they've got 8 albums. I've heard their first 7.
Oh, wow.
I haven't heard the latest one yet. I've only listened to them all, like, once over, I think, except for the first one. Yeah, the first one I've heard, like, 3 times, but, like, the others I've heard 1 time. Yeah, they are great. They are fucking great.
Oh, my God, man. Eventually, I would love to do an artist episode about them. Like, I would love to down the road.
You'll have to bring Keel in on that one, because he will be, like, offended if you don't. He loves
Oh, I know
Talking
he's
Heads.
a big fan, too. I think I saw that he was... I always wondered who his profile pic was, and then I realized it was David Byrne. And I'm like, oh, yeah. But... So their debut album, 5 out of 5. There's no song I don't like. I gave their second album, More Songs About Buildings and Food. I gave that a 5 out of 5. I gave Remain in Light a 5 out of 5, because that is like objectively a fucking perfect album. It really is, in my opinion. It's only 8 songs, and they're just all so good. Speaking in Tongues, 5 out of 5. Little Creatures, 5 out of 5. I'm not even like blindly giving these 5 out of 5s. I'm really listening to each track and like saying, am I enjoying this track? And I am, like, all of these, every single song, except when it gets to True Stories. I did give that a 4.5 out of 5, because There really, I know, I want to give it a 5 so bad, but there are some tracks that aren't quite as strong. It's kind of a shame that, like, you know, you've got their latest album, which I know you haven't listened to. It is definitely my least favorite, and it's actually like the least favorite of, I assume, almost every Talking Heads fan from what I've seen. Naked, you know, their album Naked. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's good, it's great, but it's just such a strange end to their career. Such a strange album to end on. Lastly, I counted their live album because I watched the movie Stop Making Sense. Counted that, gave that 4.5 out of 5, just because, like I said, some versions of the songs, they're just kind of a little weak here and there, but overall really great. I didn't even mention their album Fear of Music. That's also a 5, of course. And I'm not even hesitating to call them my new favorite band. I think they are. I really think they are.
Wow. How many do you have left?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Seriously?
Yeah, how many do you have?
More than that.
Oh shit. Well, I bet that 8 albums knocked a lot out. How many do you have?
I'm 17. How did that happen?
Holy shit, how did that happen? Now you have to do like 3 at a time.
Jesus, what happened there?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, wow, I'll do a few. I'll try and speedrun
Yeah.
Okay, my next one was Big Time by Angel Olsen. It was a bit disappointing because the album before that, miles better, but like even before that album I wasn't like a huge fan of Angel Olsen. It's just I really love that album specifically, but this one, bit disappointing. I gave it like a 4 out of 10. It's not like totally awful or anything like that, but it's just I didn't get much out of it. Yeah.
She's been on my list actually to listen to.
She's okay. Like I think that the 2019 one that she brought out was like the best one easily. And the next one was Expert in a Dying Field by The Beths. It's a bit of a letdown, honestly. I give it a 6 out of 10. I think their first 2 albums were like way better, and I sort of expected this to be like on the same level. Like their music is just sort of fun, upbeat, rock pop type shit, and it's like it's really nice, but with this one I just felt myself getting like less and less interested as it was going on. But the other 2 albums I didn't feel that way, so yeah, it's just a bit of a letdown, but it's not awful or anything. Next one was Hellfire by Black Midi. Ooh. On my music board thing I just said like, am I missing something? Because like I don't get it. I don't get why people are really into this. Like, I want to be into Black Midi. I love their whole thing. I love their music, but this one felt like their worst so far. Maybe it is, and even then, like, people can probably love it and give it like big scores and stuff. But I give it a 6 out of 10 on first listen.
I
don't know how I'll
people
feel
that
on
loved
re-listen.
it, but I don't know.
Yeah, if I give it another listen and I approach it in a different way, then maybe I'll like it more. Maybe I'm just expecting like Schlagenheim level of shit too much. I'll re-listen and see how I go, but I did like the song Welcome to Hell. I thought that song was great.
I listened to the first album from Sparks. Yeah, it was
it's a weird start, I'll give you that.
Something. Man, I'm really afraid though. I'm afraid I'm not gonna like them in general, and I know that you guys all love them. They're I feel like they're not for everybody, you know. Like
I have to just say something. I have to interrupt you, and I'm sorry, but like,
am I wrong? You're gonna say
no. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm not gonna say you're wrong because their first 2 albums are probably like some of my least favorites as well. But like once you get to Kimono My House, trust me.
That's the thing. I'm like a few songs into that album, as a matter of fact, and I'm still waiting for it to get good. I'm still waiting for it to hit me, yeah.
Wait a fucking minute.
I'm in Kimono My House right now.
You've heard This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us, and you still think it's
enough for the 2 of us. Yeah, I've heard that, man. It's like
you still don't think it's great? That song is like their most popular song ever.
I know it is. I saw it, and I was like, this is their most popular song? What? Like, it's...
I guess I get that because it's older, but trust me, like with Sparks, they change up so much, and they are top 5 favorite bands for me. So I will like defend this till the grave. But like with the next few, maybe you're not gonna like feel that much towards it. But like once they get to like the electronic disco type era, maybe you'll like that.
Yeah,
and
maybe
then once they get to like the
that.
orchestral type era after that, you might like that more. Like, there's something for everyone with Sparks. That's why I love them.
Well, that's hopeful, because right now it ain't looking too good. Like, I listened to... So I gave that a 2.5 out of 5. I didn't love it. It has some good songs here and there.
I totally get that. That's totally fine.
I'll be happy if I find... Like you said, if there's something for everybody in Sparks, then I hope I get to that point. I would be really sad if I went through literally all their albums and did not really like a single one, but I just hope it doesn't get to that.
You will.
Good.
I have no doubt. They have like 27 at this point. My next one was Home Before and After by Regina Spektor. I just want to read like what I said right away because it's honestly kind of funny. I gave it a 1 out of 10. No, 2 out of 10.
Damn.
2 out of 10, sorry.
That's better.
And I said, huh? What the hell happened? Is this what 6 years of no albums does to a motherfucker? Regina, this was straight up not very good, my lady. I'll just leave it at that. I wrote more, but like, yeah. She didn't bring an album out for 6 years, and then this was what she dropped, and it's like, really bad. I don't get it. Like, I liked her music quite a lot before this. It was just nice piano ballads with like her singing, and it was like beautiful songs, beautiful lyrics, but this was like, what? I don't get it.
That's too bad.
The next one was an album, don't get weirded out by this title, but it's called Freewave Lucifer Fuck 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 by Of Montreal.
What the fuck are you listening to, man?
Hey, Of Montreal are another top 5 bands.
No,
okay?
I recognize the band name, but I think my brain just shut off after hearing that title.
I know, it's like one of their weirdest titles ever. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like casting a spell on me or something. I don't know what that's doing.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. Maybe it'll grow on me a bit more. It's not like super great for me just yet, but like it's still good. It's still really good. And the last one of this bunch is an album that I can't stop talking about and thinking about. It's an album called Skinty Fear by Fontaines DC. I listened to it a second time, like right after listening to it the first time during this, and then I showed it to Julia when she visited as well, because I showed her like their 3 albums. They've only got 3 albums so far, but I'm just blown away. Very rarely do I give a 5-star like right away, but I did with this. It's just, I don't get how it's this good. I really don't. With their first album, I was like, yeah, this is good, but I wasn't like amazed by it. I just thought it was good, like a good solid album. But like the one after that I thought was amazing, and this is a fucking perfect album. Like, oh my god, I just cannot get over it. I just love all of the songs in there so much. Big Shot, Roman Holiday, Skinty Fear, I Love You. All of those songs are just so amazing. The lyrics are incredible. I can't get over it. That's all I'll say.
Nice. All right, well, what's not perfection is this second album by Sparks, a woofer in tweeters clothing.
Let me tell you right now, least favorite Sparks album still.
Nice.
So yeah,
good.
I'll give you
so
that.
I'm not crazy. Because I look through Music Board top reviews, and people are giving it like 9 out of 10s, and
it's really not that
what
good.
What am I missing? Okay, good. I'm getting kind of annoyed by some of the songs. Like Here Comes Bob sounds like it's sang by one of the minions on Despicable Me. Like it literally it could be in that movie.
The only like big classic from that album is Girl from Germany, and I still like that.
All right.
Everything else, like it's just such a whatever.
Yeah, it's just a big whatever. Like a lot of these songs really blend together for me to where it's like I don't even know which one I'm listening to at this point. I just can't get behind it. It's not a sound I'm enjoying right now.
No, they totally had like a rough start. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Good. I can't wait for them to get better. And I mean, Kimono My House is better than these first 2 albums, but it's still like roughly around.
Well, you've only heard 2 songs, right?
Well, I've heard like 4 actually. 4, and then so I mean, like I've still got more to listen. I've still have to finish it, but
keep going with it. It's a great album, I think. Okay, my next one was Lost Days in Lake Biwa by Gremlin. Gremlin is an artist that I really really like, and he's done some really really cool stuff. I don't know. I just love him as an artist, and every time he brings out a new album, it sounds like sort of similar to the last, I guess, but like, I don't know, different in the ways that count. I don't know how else to describe it. This was a really good one. It was a 7 out of 10 for me. Solid, good Gremlin album. The next one was Stereopathetic Soul Manure by Beck. It was my second Beck album. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I don't totally love it or anything, but I think that it has like a lot of really great songs in there, particularly Rowboat and Aussie. I've been listening to those quite a lot. I love them. But yeah, it's a solid one. It's a good one. It feels like very similar to his first album, so yeah. The next one was Giving the World Away by Hatchie. I gave this a 4 out of 10. Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's just really not that memorable either. She had like one album before this, and I basically felt the same way about that. She hasn't changed in like the few years that she hasn't released an album. It would feel a bit better if it was more focused. A lot of her vocals can be really annoying. It's very like just annoying, bland pop. Yeah. And I don't enjoy much of it. So, and last one in this bunch was Mellow Gold by Beck. I actually like this less than Stereopathetic Soul Manure.
What?
Yeah, surprisingly.
Man, I love this album.
Yeah, maybe I feel like I probably need more listens, maybe.
Well, did you at least like the iconic song Loser?
Oh yeah, I mean, I recognized it immediately, like you said. I loved Beer Can. I thought Beer Can was a great song. I don't know, it just didn't grab my attention like entirely as much as the first two, but it's still very decent, and yeah, I hope I like it more if I go back to it later. 6 out of 10.
I guess I don't love it either. I just checked my rating. It's a 3.5, so it's like a half star above yours. It's good though. It's still good. I listened to I have not bothered listening through all of this other artist stuff just because I already know what to expect. I've already heard his songs, but I just haven't bothered listening to a full album. But I did listen to his most recent album, Let's Start Here by Lil Yachty, because this is the case of a rapper changing up his sound, going outside the rap genre, and that doesn't happen a lot for a lot of modern rappers. Imagine like a young modern rapper who's making just kind of generic trap music, just randomly drops a great psychedelic rock album out of nowhere. Like, it's a good psychedelic experimental alternative album, and yeah, it's just completely different from all the other stuff he's done. Just the name Lil Yachty and the fact that he was just a rapper before will probably turn a lot of people off already from it, but like, this is totally different than everything else he's done. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was almost an 8. It was very good, just a bit too long. But yeah, it was just really good stuff, like if you're into that.
Alright, the first one was Angelo by Brigitte. They have 2 albums before this that I really, really liked, but this one, for some reason, was just a bit of a letdown. I still gave it a 6 out of 10, but it probably has to be their worst so far. It just did not engage me that much, and I really don't know what else to say about it. It's just, they have like a lot of really great, beautiful songs and all that, but this one just felt like it had a lot less of that. Still okay. And the next one was One Foot in the Grave by Beck. Yeah, good shit. I gave it a 7 out of 10, so I liked it pretty much as the second album. I don't love it all yet, but I could probably see it getting to that point where I start to love it a lot more. It's a very stripped back album, and it feels a little bit different to like Mellow Gold and stuff like that. It feels more acoustic, I guess. But I really did like it. I liked the song Sleeping Bag and the song Seawater. I really liked them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's solid for me right now. I'd like to revisit it at some point, but yeah, for now it's just solid.
Yeah, I think same for me.
These were all listened to like with Julia, by the way, like all of the next ones. Next one was Odelay by Beck. Best in the discography so far.
Yeah, I was about to say that was one of my favorites too.
At this point of like listening to Beck, like it was just the best in the discography so far. Just tons of moments that really hooked me. Like I loved the whole midsection. I thought the whole midsection was just great. Like I wasn't sure at the start and like a little bit iffy at the end, but the midsection just kept me like really, really invested. And I loved a lot of the songs and the styles that they were going in. I loved the song Novocaine, Where It's At, Minus, Sissy Neck. All of those were just great. Yeah, it's just a really good album.
It is a really good album.
The most recent Beck album I listened to, Mutations. That is my favorite so far. I'm not like totally wowed by Beck in general yet, and I really don't know what to say about him a lot of the time.
Right.
But
Same here, now you see my issue.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe with like a lot of re-listens, I would get there. But yeah, it is the best so far. It feels the most consistent, definitely. I love the way it sounds. It can be really soothing at times and like hard hitting in others. Like I just loved a lot about it.
Nice. Yeah, he's consistently good. Well, my last album. I wish I ended with one I liked, but I did not like this. The only reason I listened to this was because in the rap community, not even just the rap community, but the music community, this is like an album that's been kind of buzzing, like getting a lot of plays and popularity, and never even heard of this guy. Never heard of him, but he's a rapper, modern rapper, of course. His name's just Yeet, and he dropped this album called Afterlife. Man, I gave it a 1 out of 5. I gave it a 1 out of 5 because it was damn near unlistenable. There's only one song out of like 22 tracks I actually enjoyed. I would recommend the one song off the album. It's called None I'd Change. I think that's what it's called. It's spelled kind of weird though. None I'd Change. It's a good song. I added it to my like songs. The rest it was just repetitive, boring, annoying, kind of like it gave me almost a headache at times because it's just like the same woozy, distorted rap production, and he's kind of just like mumbling over these fucking beats. And just like he's just a complete just uninspired mumble rapper. It's not that, I don't know why this album is so popular in the community right now. Yeah, not very good. I didn't like it. Surprisingly, Fantano gave it like a 7 out of 10, and I was like, oh well, I'll listen to it then. Fucking yeah.
Fantano's done a lot of things I disagree with, so whatever.
I mean, me too, probably, but normally he's pretty accurate for like, yeah, that is a good album, or that's not. Anyway, it's not that good.
My next one was Chloe and the Next 20th Century by Father John Misty. Well, this was a fucking huge letdown. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
No.
Like, genuinely, the 3 albums that came before this were all 10s for me.
Oh,
so this hurt. I don't know.
What was bad about it? What changed?
It's a lot more of like a gimmicky sort of sound because he like implements these sort of like old, like maybe like 60s 50s style like instrumentals and shit like that, where it's just like, I don't know, it feels very olden day, and you know, that's all well and good, but it doesn't fit quite as well with like the music that he's trying to make, because it feels like the same regular Father John Misty lyrics and vocals and stuff, but like with that kind of instrumental backing there, it doesn't feel like that instrumental backing has a reason to be there, because he's not singing in a different way, he's not talking in a different way, he's not like producing lyrics that like come off in a different way like to fit that kind of sound, you know? I don't know, it just felt like it like kind of bored me, honestly. Like I was just like really checking out while I was listening to it. Maybe a re-listen will help. Yeah, I can't say that I loved it. The only song I did like was Q4. I thought Q4 was a really good song, but yeah.
That's too bad.
The next one was Double Vanity by Broncho. I talked about like the second Broncho album earlier. Yeah, this was their third one, and they've got one more after this. The third one I gave a 7 out of 10. It's just good. I really don't think I'm like loving them as a band, like, but I think that they have like some great moments. It feels like stuff that I would re-listen to like really easily, because it's so easy to re-listen to, but it is just sort of like background music-y sometimes. Like, I don't like saying that about music that I like, because I really do like this, but it does sort of feel that way sometimes. Yeah, it's still a good album. I thought I Know You, Senorita Borealis, and Wanna were really good songs. It's just good. It's just good. And my last one was the album Freak Out / Release by Hot Chip. And Hot Chip are one of my favorite bands ever. They have had a streak before this album of 3 absolutely perfect albums, and even before that, like very close to perfect albums. Like they feel like they do not fucking miss. Nice. They continued the streak. They do not fucking miss. Oh my god, this album was fantastic. Like, I gave it a 9 out of 10 on first listen, and I honestly could see it moving up to a 10. I was literally listening to it with Julia. We were listening like on headphones at the same time and just looking at each other and stuff. We just kept like looking at each other and going like, oh my god, like, this is so fucking good. I mean, Eleanor, Broken, Time, Miss the Bliss, Out of My Depth, all of those songs are just amazing. Every song is amazing. I love Hot Chip. That's it.
Nice. I I've heard some of their songs mainly when like we were all here in September. Then like they would pop up on the playlist, but I've never listened to one of their albums, so I need to.
They're so good. Their first is a little bit rocky. You might not like it as much, but their second, I feel like that'll just sell you on whether or not you like Hot Chip.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Holy shit, we've recorded for so long.
Yeah. Oh my god, we still have questions. Hopefully, it can handle all this.
I mean, like I said, I'll edit it down. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just get right into listener questions. Finally. All right, let's get through these. Question from All Right So Reviews: opinions on the new potential Lord of the Rings films.
Wait, what?
No, you didn't hear about this?
No.
Oh, yeah, they're in talks to make new Lord of the Rings films. I don't like that. Yeah, no.
Wait, like remakes of Lord of the Rings?
No, I if there was a remake, then people would riot. But I mean, like, I think they're just I don't know if they're just expanding on it and making new movies in that universe. But I just still don't think you should do that. I think it's fine.
They made Rings of Power though.
They did. They made Rings of Power, and look at that, how that turned out. So I don't know. I just don't think it's I just don't know if fans want that, you know? And I don't know if I want that.
I mean, I'm open enough to it, like, if it turns out well, but the problem is, like, a lot of people are going to hold it to the standard of Lord of the Rings, and, like, you cannot meet that. You just can't meet that.
Exactly. I mean, look at all the not controversy, but, like, just all the discourse about the Hobbit movies and just, like, how people keep comparing those to Lord of the Rings and that people are hating on them because of that. So, like, you can't do that. People are always going to compare it to Lord of the Rings, and you just can't touch those movies. They're on a whole nother level. We have 2 questions from moving _ pictures. Julia.
What's
up? What is the biggest goal you've each met for music / movies discovered yearly or otherwise?
We've mentioned this, haven't we? Like, you know how we were, like, comparing how we've, like, listened to a certain amount or watched a certain amount in 1 year? Like, we did that quite a while ago.
For music, I honestly don't know. I'd have to look it up. There was, in 2020, I listened to, like, that was the most music I listened to in my life in 1 year because I was doing nothing but driving for FedEx, and I was listening to music all day, every day. And then I think also for 2020, that actually might have been it was either 2020 or 2021. It was also the same year I watched the most movies in my life in that year. So all I was fucking doing was watching movies and listening to music. But I watched 536 movies that year. Yeah. So I was watching like 2 movies a day, and that was just my routine because I literally had nothing to do but work. So yeah, that was my 2020.
I don't know what it is for movies, honestly. I have no idea. But for music, like, my biggest year was 2019, where I listened to 467 albums.
Damn. Yeah.
What's that?
It's a lot. It's our lives. We consume the media.
It's our lives.
Of all, and this question's also from Julia. Of all the new watches / listens, which ones could you revisit immediately? The Talking Heads discography, I've literally had it on repeat, like, to this day. Like, I will not stop. I just won't stop until I get sick of it. But I don't want to get sick of it though. So that is the music I could re-listen to immediately. And The Whale is a recent movie that as soon as I left the theater, I wanted to go back in and watch it again. So
I sort of feel the same way about The Whale, actually. That and maybe Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, because I do really want to watch that again. I mean, listens to Hot Chip. Like, I could listen to that Hot Chip album, like, again and again and again. I need to, as a matter of fact. So I'll just say that.
From Movies That Don't Suck, he asked, picks for Best Picture? Well, out of what's nominated, probably Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's what I think should win it. What I want to win is probably Banshees of Inisherin. I would say The Whale, but it wasn't even nominated for that category.
I don't care. I guess I'll go with those 2 as well, honestly. Like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Banshees, Everything Everywhere, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me much. One of those will win, I'm sure.
His second question was, are you guys ready for John Wick 4?
I'm so fucking ready. Yeah, I'm ready for John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I can't wait. That's what I need right now. That's what I need for my life, to improve my life at the moment. Just give me John Wick 4.
Yes, I need it. All the action, give it to me.
Oh, I can't wait to see how they just one-up themselves with the action and shit.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. I can't wait. This is more of a demand rather than a question, but it's from user 1962. Thanks to our loyal listener, user 1962. He asked, or he demanded that he said, y'all need to watch the entire Scream franchise to get ready for part 6 on March 10th.
Okay.
I don't really want to, but I might actually watch through these movies just because we're getting it at the theater, I'm pretty sure, and it'd be cool to see Scream 6 in the theater, I guess, but I don't give a shit about this franchise that much, honestly, I really don't. It's like the same thing every movie.
I've only seen the first. I really like the first, but yeah, I mean...
Yeah, the first is great. I enjoyed the first quite a bit. The second one bored me a lot, so I just never continued, but...
Maybe I'll watch the others, but I'm not in a rush, so...
Yeah. And then the last question sent to you was from Film Forager. Why doesn't Quinn like Sparks? Well,
we've discussed this so much.
Yeah, we did, but why don't you ask me yourself, Chandra? You see me at work. And when we have our movie nights, are you too afraid to ask me yourself? Just ask me to my face. Why don't you like Sparks?
Stand up to Quinn.
Don't get Liam to ask for you. I don't know why I don't like Sparks. Probably it's a mix of the voice and, mainly that.
His name is Russell.
Oh my god.
This is our single longest recording we've ever done. Yes.
We're never lumping these two categories in together again. This is so much.
I'm gonna hate this episode when I'm editing, but
yeah, you probably will.
It's still fun. It still was a good conversation. Lots of movies, lots of music.
Yeah, got a lot of talking in. My vocal cords need a rest for I talked more in this recording than I probably did all week or all of last week to anybody. Shout out to our lovely, awesome freaking patrons who keep this train going, who keep the artwork a-flowing.
Yes. We're loving the artwork. It's all because of you guys.
That's literally where the money is going. All the money is going towards this artwork for each episode. So thank you to Kath.reviews.
Thanks, Kath.
Moving _ pictures. Julia.
Thank you, Julia. I miss you. Come back.
Oh. And then we got Sarah's popcorn chat.
Thank you, Sarah. You're the best.
And Amy, Our Door Film. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you. I'm sorry that I can never get your name right. I'm losing my mind over here. All right.
Thank you, Amy.
To Luna _ Pearl, Liam's mom.
Thanks,
you.
Mom. Hell yeah. Thanks, all of
Anyway.
you patrons. You're very nice.
Yes, thank you so much. And if you want to become a Patreon, check out the link in the description of the episode. We would greatly appreciate it. We are trying to improve the podcast with the artwork and all this stuff, and that's where all the money goes. So we'd love it, big or small, if you wanted to help out.
Consider donating. We would appreciate it.
For sure. You can find me at Views by Quinn on all the social medias. Just check the link tree below for my Instagram, letterbox, all that stuff. It's all in the link tree. You can find me there.
And you can find me at Movies Music Me, all in the link tree as well. YouTube, Instagram, Letterboxd, Music Board, Serialized, Spotify, TikTok, whatever. All of it.
And also our podcast Instagram page, Yeah Podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
Follow that where we will post about our new episodes and update you there.
And don't forget to rate the podcast on Spotify as well. We would appreciate that very much.
Anyway, that's about it. My voice is so gone that I'm going to do a quiet version this time. I'm going to whisper it.
Yeah,
really nice
I understand.
Alright, so bye everybody, and peace out, bitches.
Very nice.